Okay, welcome. It is Saturday night. It is July 29th. We're almost in August 2023. And I am Mark W. On the call with me is my son and co host, Mr. Rob Bob. Say hello, Rob Bob.
Hello.
And today we're going to finish what we started about 2 months ago, which is this game book called The Citadel of Chaos. And this is sort of in celebration of the 40th birthday of Fighting Fantasy. Is it all Fighting Fantasy books or just some of them? I don't remember. I guess all of them. And yeah, so we did a stream last, I believe, May, which was part of the Citadel of Chaos, but we didn't complete it. So I usually tend to leave these game book streams hanging midway, but I thought it might be fun to resume where we were last time. We just have to kind of freshen our memories because it's been a while. Hey, Eric, how's it going? Eric is one of the new super regulars to the stream, to the channel, I guess I should say. He's often on the Thursday streams, especially. Welcome, though, tonight, Mr. Eric Johnson. Oh, yeah, anyway, so very briefly, the history of Fighting Fantasy. Now, I'm not going to give you a whole history, but if you don't know what these are basically like those choose your own adventure game books you probably played as a kid, except sort of like crossed with D&D a little bit. You roll dice to see who wins fights with monsters and things like that. And yeah, it's the 40th birthday of the whole Fighting Fantasy series, at least when it started to, you know, at least when it began. Not all of them, because they've been making them over decades. But the official Fighting Fantasy Twitter account announced a while ago, hey, if you want to have a 40th anniversary stream, let us know and we'll promote it for you. So that was kind of my inspiration. And also, I've done a couple of these before anyway, so it seemed to fall into place nicely. Anyway, this is part two. We have a game in progress. I am about as rusty as anyone here, except for, I guess I'm less rusty than people who didn't watch the first one. But let me expand my overhead view a little bit, which isn't super sharp, so I apologize for that, but we'll do what I can. This is my character sheet. I don't remember if I bothered to give this character a name. They don't really necessarily need names. His name is Bolgar of Wheat. That was one of my Turtles and Trolls characters. Um, and currently, this is current status. As you can see, I've crossed off a lot. I've erased a lot. But essentially, he has a skill of 7. That's his combat fighting skill. It is not that great. It started at 8 to begin with, but something happened. I think we tried to hack open a box, a treasure chest, try to hack at the lock, and that dulled our weapon, unfortunately. So our skill is 7. Our starting stamina was 21. This is basically your hit points. Currently, it is 13 after a lot of battles. You can see I did a lot of crossing off and erasing. I think I used some kind of a healing spell or something. Um, our initial luck was 9, and the current luck is 7. None of these stats are great, by the way. When you roll up a character, you roll for skill and luck. You roll one die and add 6, and that's your starting value for each. So as you can see, the minimum you could possibly roll at the beginning is 7, and that's where we're kind of at now. 7 skill and 7 luck. Although our initials were 8 and 9. Um, what was that? Okay.
Sorry.
Maybe try to mute if you've got some crazy sounds going on. Magic.
Sorry, I'm messing with my mic.
Okay, he's playing with his mic. Um, I don't remember what initial magic means. Honestly, gold is 6. We have 6 gold. But here are the spells that we know. Yeah, I'll have to review all the spells as we go. But at the beginning, you're able to choose a whole bunch of spells, and you can see I used some of them. Each time you use one, you cross it off. But I had like 2 of stamina, and that's basically a stamina healing spell. Creature copy, I had 2 of those, and I used one. I still have 1 levitation, 1 skill, 1 luck. Looks like I used one of the lucks before. 1 ESP, 1 fire, and I already crossed off illusion and shielding. Let me pop it in the chat real quick. It's just Eric's message was the last one still. Nobody else has spoken since. Items of equipment carried. We have an ornate hairbrush. Who knows if that's useful or a red herring? Magic sword, which is +1 to skill. And now I'm not really remembering if that's already figured into here. I know I ran into one thing that says it dulls your blade. That was like toward the very end of last stream. I just played like the last 10 minutes back to remind myself. I'm not really sure if I'm supposed to be at 7 plus 1 for the sword or not, though. I guess I'll just play it as it is 7. I also have a silver mirror. What can mirrors be good for in games like this? Who knows? But usually it's something like a Gorgon or a Medusa kind of creature that turns you to stone. But who knows? I don't really know if that's the thing in this game. And I also got a spider guy in jar. Yeah, that's the very last paragraph we were at before I aborted. There were these 3 treasure chests, and essentially I had to open them in the right order. I picked the wrong one first, so the game made me hack at it with my sword, even though I didn't really want to. That's what dulled my blade, thus diminishing my skill by 1. Then I opened another chest and found a key, which was the key to a different chest, which had some spider, like it had like a little spider with I think a human face, and it was speaking, but I couldn't understand it, and it's in a jar, so it's very weird. That's what I have, and of course I was making jokes like from The Fly, like "Help me!" Um, what else is there to say? We could probably go over the basic story. I should probably review how magic works. I don't remember what this means. This might just be how many um, spell spell slots I was able to start with, 12. And as you can see, I did have what looks to be maybe about 12 to begin with. 2 plus 2 is 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, that's probably what it is, because if you add up all the spells I used to have, it was 12. But as of this moment, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think, if I can count. That's pretty much all for the character sheet, unless you want to look at the history of things I fought. Actually, I have some random notes over here. Need fleece. That was a note I took. Uh, Something about eating dead snakes. The thing that was afraid of mice, we already did that. There were some kind of creatures called calicorns, and they were afraid of mice, and I used that tip to get out of jail when they had imprisoned me. I think I made a mouse appear using a spell or something like that to maybe it was the illusion spell that I used over here, and that scared my prison guard away, I think. Um, Eat dead snakes. I have no idea why I wrote that. I guess that might be under the calicorns still. That calicorns like to eat dead snakes. I really don't know. I need fleece. I don't remember the context. Maybe there was no context. Here are some things I fought in the past. There was an ape dog and a dog ape. Yes, for real. Um, let's check in the chat real quick. Hello, Stu. Who reads books anymore? Says Stu. And Eric says, well, you don't want to eat live snakes. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Better to eat the dead one. Uh, Over here we had Wheelie. There were these weird creatures with wheels that attacked me. Wheelie 1 and 2. Uh, I fought somebody whose name sounds like Garth Brooks. um, the funny thing is, this was written before. He was a well-known name, I think, because this is from 1983. So that's Garth Brooks, the country singer. We fought a golem. That was something we fought recently. And that's about it for the character sheet. Let's review the map. Essentially, we had to enter the Citadel first. There's a bad wizard dude, I think, in this Citadel. And yeah, we didn't really explore a whole lot for a 3-hour stream last time. There was a rhino guy. Was at the very beginning. And it looks like I passed some stairs over here. Every little rectangle is kind of it's supposed to be a door, I guess. Uh, there was a butler with a bell alarm. There was a gark or something up there, a library. I think something teleported me to this leprechaun who was a pain, I remember. Laundry woman, golem and chest. I believe that's where I am now. I just opened the chest. There was a jail. That's where the calicorns or whatever. That's where they jailed me. So I believe we're over here, and I have taken note of the paragraph we were at, which was 237. So I guess we'll resume there. Maybe I'll review the intro really quick to skim through it, just so we can get a basic feel for the story once again. Um, I'm gonna move windows so I can see the chat a little better. All right, let's review the intro very briefly. I don't want to dwell on it, but maybe review some of the spells I have too. So this is the Citadel of Chaos. This is the second, by the way, fighting fantasy book that was written. The very first, you can see by the number 2. The very first one was called Warlock of Firetop Mountain. And in these very early fighting fantasy books, you know, a lot of RPGs and game books back then, they had a very fun housey. Well, that's what we call today in the RPG community. We call them funhousey adventures or fun house. And that just means that it doesn't tend to make sense. Like they kind of evolved to like you actually have a consistent feeling and setting and things like that. But back then it was like you go into a dungeon, you walk into the room to the north, and you find an orc sitting on a treasure chest for no discernible reason. You fight the orc. You go to the room to the west, you find a pool, and in the pool there's a sea monster. And like it didn't make sense from like the point of view of a sensible setting, just like a dungeon with random stuff in it. So that's kind of what this is like, one of those old school dungeons with random stuff in it. Um, so here's some of the spells we could review really quick. I have stamina, which I know it heals you, but let's review how much and stuff. Replenishes your stamina by half its initial value. Can be cast at any time except in battle. So my initial stamina is 21, and that means it would replenish it by, I don't know about rounding, but let's say 10 or 11. What else we got here? We have the creature copy spell. This spell will allow you to conjure up an exact duplicate of any creature you are fighting. The duplicate will have the same skill and stamina scores and the same powers as its original, but the duplicate will be under the control of your will, and you may, for example, instruct it to attack the original creature, and then sit back and watch the battle. ESP is one of the ones I have, so I'll read that since it's right here. And I also have fire, so I can read that one next. With this spell, this is the ESP, you will be able to tune into psychic wavelengths. It may help you to read a creature's mind or may tell you what is behind a locked door. However, it is sometimes prone to giving misleading information if one psychic source is close to another. Fire. Fire bad. Every creature is afraid of fire, and this spell allows you to conjure up fire at will. You may cause a small explosion on the ground, which will burn for several seconds, or you may create a wall of fire to keep creatures at bay. Stuff to keep in mind. I don't have Fool's Gold. I had Illusion, but I used it, I think, to make that mouse appear and scare off the whatever it was called, Carnicorn. Levitation, I do have. You may cast this spell onto objects, opponents, and even yourself. It frees its receiver from the effects of gravity, and as such will cause that receiver to float freely into the air under your control. So I could probably use that against enemies, even if they're going to attack me, make them float away. I don't know. Just making stuff up. Whatever the paragraph lets me do. Skill. This replenishes your skill score by half its initial value. And right now, I'm assuming I'm doing it right, and I have 7 skill of my maximum of 8. So, in a sense, skill is very important. It would be nice to be back up to 8. In another sense, if this spell lets me replenish half of my initial, which is 4, I might want to wait to make a more economic use out of it. And Stu says, note all spells will operate in the least convenient way for the particular situation. Yeah, pretty much. What else we got? We have a luck, which is probably the same, like restoring by half. Let's see. I'll just skim over it. Yeah, pretty much, except this one is more verbose for some reason than the other ones. ESP we did. Fire. Yeah, we covered all the spells that I actually have. And to review the story a little bit, the lawful good folk of the Vale of Willow have lived for some 8 years in awe and fear of the demi-sorcerer Balthus Dire. In awe, since his power is truly awesome, and in fear ever since word leaked from his domain that his ambitious plans of conquest were to commence the Vale itself. A faithful half-elf sent on a spying mission to the Black Tower came galloping back to the Vale 3 days ago with a frantic warning. From within the caverns of Kragan Rock, Baltus Dire had recruited an army of chaotics and was preparing them to attack the Vale within the week. The good King Salomon, or Salmon maybe, Salmon, was a man of action. Messengers were sent throughout the Vale that day to prepare defenses, and I'm going to skim through this. Basically, I think I am the new, am I an assassin? Or just a spy? I think I'm his assassin now. But I am also a Stark pupil of the Grand Wizard of Yore, so that's why I know magic, essentially. The king welcomed you enthusiastically and explained his plan. The battle could be avoided without bloodshed if Baltus were to be assassinated before his army could be amassed. That's my mission. I'm an assassin wizard, apparently. That's the gist of it. So I had to actually travel to the Citadel and creep my way in. I think I I think I blundered my way through that, but I managed to get in. And yeah, I made it through several rooms, but as I showed earlier, I didn't really like apparently explore a huge amount of the map, although I really don't know how much there is, but it didn't seem like a whole lot. It seemed like I did a very small amount. And and that said, let's jump back to where we were, which as I recorded on my character sheet is paragraph 237. Again, this was after opening those chests, and I found the spider guy in the box. I kind of want to review that paragraph about the spider guy, but I don't know what paragraph that was offhand. I'd have to dig through my last video again. Stu says, Mark, are you going to the LI Retro in a couple of? Oh, I hadn't considered that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go if I don't have something else going on. That was fun the last time I went, and then I kind of stayed away because of pandemic-y stuff. But yeah, I think it's time to revisit that. I assume you're going, Stu. You like to go to these things. All right. By the way, I have my trusty dice tray with dice. Whenever you roll in combat, I can just do that quickly to roll 2 dice for myself as well as for the opponent at the same time. The way it works is you add your skill to your roll. For example, mine is currently 7, and if the opponent had a skill of, let's say, 8, then his total, if the red ones are the opponent, would be 7 plus 8, which is 15, and then my 9 plus 7 would be 16, and I would win the battle, and therefore I would dish out 2 stamina in damage. Stu says I plan to be there on Sunday. Cool, yeah, I'll have to look into it. I totally hadn't really had that on my radar at all. All right, without further ado, yeah, so we've got this spider dude, tiny spider guy in the jar. Um, and yeah, 237. You open the door and step forward into a passageway, which runs eastward for several meters and then ends at the foot of a staircase. So I was at this golem and chests uh, location on the map, which I won't zoom in right now. You can just kind of see it's over here, which unfortunately means I want to draw. I have to draw like a corridor going east, and that's going to wrap around. It's going to go off the edge of the map, so I'll probably wrap it around to the other side over here. Anyway, eastward several meters, and then ends at the foot of a staircase. You climb the stairs. Okay, so let me finish reading, and then I'll draw the map. You climb the stairs and eventually find yourself in a narrow passageway. A short distance ahead, you can see an opening into a large, well-lit room. You press on forward, turn to 169. So this wraps around. It's hard to draw maps when you don't know where it's going to end and stuff like that. But did I go up the stairs or down? I was at the foot of the staircase and I climbed them. Okay. Going through cheesy stairs. And then I climbed and it was in a narrow passageway. Okay. I know you can't really see my drawing too well. It's not really worth it, believe me. And I'll just zoom in real quick anyway. Here I am on the left. A short distance ahead, you can see an opening into a large, well-lit room. You press on forward, turn to 169. So I haven't been doing this, but I should probably label each room on the map with the paragraph number. So here we have a picture associated with 169. We can take a look at that real quick. Looks like we have some suits of armor on either side. What's going on in the middle there? Is that like a table with a million chairs? A long table large enough to seat 40 or 50 people stands in the center. "169. The room you are in," and Stu says, "Prediction Mark will fall victim to a beginner's trap due to being too kind." Probably. "The room you are in is some sort of grand dining hall. A long table, large enough to seat some 40 or 50 people, stands in the center, edged with chairs. Various doors and passageways lead from the room, but you are particularly interested in 2 wide staircases which lead upwards to either end of a balcony overlooking the hall. Paintings and suits of armor decorate the walls. The room is empty, I guess except for those. Will you take the left-hand staircase upward Take the right hand staircase upward. Investigate the paintings or investigate the suits of armor. So I'm going to write 169 in this large room. And there's staircases to the left and staircases to the right. And armor and paintings. All right. If the peanut gallery would like to offer a suggestion, I mean, you can't just not investigate stuff, right? If some of them turn out to be randomly bad, then sure, you remember it for next time. Here I am stuck in the middle with you. Uh, I am going to investigate the paintings that surely won't be creepy, or investigate the armor that surely won't be creepy. Let's go with the paintings. 317.
Paintings will have eyes that follow you.
Yeah, if it was more horror movie, but there is one horror Fighting Fantasy book. It would definitely have that. I think it does have that. In fact, 317, 317 bomber. So I think I'm truncating or cropping the right portion of my window here. Let me fix that up. That should be a little bit better. All right. The paintings are portraits of various lords and earls, prominent in the kingdom of Kragan Rock. Reminds me of Fraggle Rock. Behind a chair at the head of the table is a portrait of Balthus Dyer himself. He does indeed look a powerful adversary. Add 1 luck point for the warning of his appearance, but lose 1 stamina point for the feeling of fear he instills. Okay. I mean, it's a good trade-off. 1 stamina for 1 luck. Generally speaking, that's a good trade-off. So our luck is 8 again, with a max of 9, and stamina is down to 12. You may now continue either up. Oh, I can't investigate the armor now. It was one or the other somehow. You may now investigate either the left-hand staircase, turn to 19, or the right-hand staircase, turn to 197. Uh, it's arbitrary, so let's go to 19. 19. The staircase creaks as your foot falls on it. You try to ascend as quietly as possible, but the old timbers groan under your weight. This does not. What does Stu say? Since you are a wimp, lose 1 stamina point just for looking at a portrait of your adversary. This does not bode well for the actual battle. Yeah, it's like the stare downs before boxing matches. Some people say in the stare down, it's already won or lost at that point. I think I just had something like the stare down and I lost. Except I didn't even like stare him down. I stared a painting of him down. uh, so you try to ascend as quietly as possible, but the old timbers groan under your weight. Suddenly, one of the stairs clicks as if to trigger a switch of some kind. Great. To your surprise, all the stairs flick downwards. Ah! You are now standing on a smooth, steep slope. Standing or sliding? Try as you might, you cannot keep your balance and you fall down the slope. Yeah, I'm sliding. Tumbling head over heels. Oh no. I'm head over heels for you. If you wish to use a levitation spell, you may fly up and out of danger to land on the balcony above. I've got one. I mean, I guess I might as well use it. You could always say save it for a rainy day, but is there a rainy day? Save it for a rainier day. You may fly up and out of danger to land on the balcony above. Turn to 363. Otherwise, turn to 254. Oh, I guess I'll just use it. Any objections, Rob, Bob, or anybody?
I say use it.
Yeah, let's use it.
It's like if you wait, you might not get a chance to use it.
Yeah, I mean that totally makes sense. Stu and Eric agree to use it. All right, so I'm crossing off levitation from my spell list, and now I will float to safety, I suppose, to a balcony above. 363 is the paragraph number. Three 63 says along the balcony are 3 doors. Hold on, how am I drawing this? I don't even know. This goes to a balcony, I guess. Bear with me a moment. There's a door to the left, center, or right. Okay. All right, door number one, door number two, or door number three? Oh, Stu is rules lawyering now. He said you don't even need to have you don't even have you don't even need to have the levitation spell. You just need to wish to use that one. Yeah, sure. Okay, left, center, or right?
Left.
Or going left. 228. The locked door is very strong and made of solid oak. It is unlikely you'll break it down, but you may try. Otherwise, you could use a strength spell, I didn't take that, to smash it. The lock is copper, and you could try using a copper key if you have one. Shoot. The reason why I'm saying shoot is because I know when I did the whole rigmarole with the boxes, it said you find a key, then you find another key, and I don't remember if one of them was copper, but I didn't write it down either. I think I just kind of assumed that the keys were just for those boxes and that's it. So I'm kind of regretting not having written them down. But it was like the end of, it was like 1 a.m. and I was like tired and just wanted to finish it up. So I'm actually going to return to my last video. And Stu says, I think if I remember correctly, you had a copper key at the end. All right, so I'm going to quickly pull up my last video. And I think there were two keys. And therefore I can just make sure I write those down. So I'm sorry to be a pain and waste time here, but kind of important, right? But it shouldn't take me too long, really. I know where it was. It was right at the end of the last stream. So now I have it pulled up, and I'm looking. Okay, I see. I'm looking at the spider paragraph, by the way. Let me read that as long as I'm here. So this is when I open one of the boxes. It says the key turns, the lock clicks open, and you look inside the box. Inside the box is a glass jar, and in the jar is a spider. But not a normal spider. This creature had the face of an old man. He is talking to you, but you cannot make out what he is saying. A noise startles you, and you spin around to see that the door, the one you came through, is beginning to open. You put the jar in your bag and make for the other door. And that's how I got to 237, which is the paragraph I started at this evening. So let me rewind a little bit and try to see which keys I should have written down. Uh, Open the box and find a key. This time a cut in a glowing green metal. Do I have one glowing green metal key? And I have to find if I got a copper one or what. I mean, I know copper can turn greenish, but I don't think I can assume that's the copper key.
Yeah, I don't think that's it.
No. Well,
If
let's see.
if it's
There were two I got though, I think. So rewinding. Do do do.
unless it's very oxidized and somehow glowing.
Very oxidized and it's enchanted or something. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Silver key. Okay, so I got a silver key in the glowing whatever green one. And as far as I know, no copper one. So that's a shame. But that's how it is. All right, back to the real world. Then you open the silver box and got a copper. Okay. Stu seems to think I actually got a copper one as well. Let me review a little more carefully. Look at the upper right of your paper. Well, I'll show you. This was some kind of a puzzle, right? Upper right of my paper. I had to solve like the copper box, the bronze box, or the brass box. This is like the leprechauns challenge, which is when I was in this room. Should, should I revert to the leprechaun room? It's gonna take me a while to find that in the last video. I think those are just boxes that were brass, copper, bronze, but I don't remember getting a key. Well, if anyone else wants to look at my previous video, feel free. But I wouldn't even know like which hour to recommend looking at among the 3 hours for when I encountered the leprechaun. Oh, Stu's looking. All right. But I think I have to move on though. So,
You could just assume that it's like silver, I think.
well, assume the lock
I
is.
mean,
Assume I have a copper key here.
I don't know.
I don't think I can do that.
No, I said silver. I said silver.
I have a silver key and a glowing green metal key. It's asking me if I have a copper one.
Yeah, so you assume you don't have it.
I think that's pretty fair, unfortunately. Well, I could try to smash it down, cast a strength spell, and I don't have the option to like go back, and I literally don't have a strength spell, so I guess I have to smash it down, which is probably going to be like roll some dice, and if I mess up, I get hurt or something. But I think that's my only choice, unfortunately. Um, if Stu finds I got a copper key, I could rewind maybe. I don't know, but for now, I'm just gonna go with smash it down because it seems to be my only choice. Hold on. Rhymester is here. Hello, Rhymester. Welcome. Rhymester says, Mark, you get the copper key when you fight the group around the fire earlier. The group around the fire. Did I fight that? Uh, looking at my map again, I don't know if I did.
I don't remember anything like that.
Yeah, I don't remember fighting a group around a fire. There was a leprechaun, the laundry woman, golem in chest,
I
jail.
remember the wheel guys.
The wheel guys were, I think, maybe I didn't write them down on the map. Uh, library, Gark, in the courtyard. Like before even entering the tower. And
Well, you had to fight some guys at the front of the castle,
yeah, that was the man,
like before entering.
the ape dog and the man bear. No, the dog ape and the ape dog.
Yeah. You mean they had a? Were they at a fire? I don't think so.
No, no, I don't think I encountered that rhymester unless you unless this is something you can't avoid and we're just forgetting. But I don't remember any fight around the fire, unfortunately. Well, if you couldn't avoid it, then you would automatically have it, and there wouldn't be a choice. So I think I have to go to 88 to break it down. This door is extremely strong, but cracks a little. Okay, I went into yeah. Rhymester is saying I went a different way. Okay, thanks for clarifying. This way we're not confused. So we went a different way and didn't encounter the place where you find the copper. All right, good. So we know we're doing the right thing at least. Yeah, the door is extremely strong, but cracks a little under your charge. You may try charging it as often as you wish until you break it. Roll a die for each attempt. If you roll a 6, you succeed. Oh, this is going to suck. For each unsuccessful attempt, you must lose one stamina point. If you decide against this course of action, you may use a strength spell or try either the middle door or the door at the far end of the balcony. I mean,
I think you should just try a different door first before starting to bash the door.
probably because you got to figure a 1 in 6 shot is going to. If I get really lucky, I could get in the first shot, but most likely it's going to take at least like say 3 or 4 or 5 attempts. So yeah, I don't want to get beat up that much. I only have 12 stamina. And who knows? Maybe I can return to it later. All right, let's try the middle door, 64. If it was like a 5 or 6, I'd probably be like, yeah, let's give it a try. But just needing a 6, I don't know. Okay, you listen at the door and you can hear squeaky voices laughing and squabbling. You try the handle and the door opens. Hello, squeaky people. Probably goblins or something. Inside is a brightly colored room. A few small beds are in one corner, and strewn about the floor are small mannequins, of various brutish creatures. Along the right-hand wall is a large box, and just beyond the box is a door. In the center of the floor and looking up at you quizzically are three small creatures. They are human-like, but have green skin, pointed ears, and slit-like eyes. What will your approach be? Will you draw your sword and prepare to fight? Turn to 286. Look in your pack for something to offer them. Turn to 3. Walk confidently across the room to the far door. Let's check what I could give them in my pack. Would I even want to do that? But what's even a possibility? They might like the silver mirror. They might like the spider the spider guy in the jar. I don't know. They might like the ornate hairbrush. Or I could kill them. What say you people, including you, Rob Bob? Any thoughts?
Uh,
Shall we just kill him?
that's probably the safest
It's the
move.
safest to just go killing them. What if I try giving them my hairbrush? I'm gonna try giving them
I
something.
guess. Alright.
Oh, interesting. Spider in the jar is one of the options. 3. What will you offer them? A pocket myriad. What does that mean? Turn to 327. A spider in the jar, turn to 59. A handful of berries, turn to 236. If you cannot offer any of these, you can either draw your sword or head for the far door. Oh, I don't know. The spider in the jar seems like something pretty special. Do I really want to waste it on these turds? For all I know, that could be the entire purpose of it. That's the thing about these games. It's hard to tell what anything is for. But let's give him the spider in the jar, I guess. Here you go. Do you like this guy? Interesting. 59. They are revolted by your gift and run over to the corner of the room, hiding under the beds. Somewhat puzzled by their behavior, you leave the jar on the floor. Oh, can I just carry it still? Leave the jar on the floor and make for the door on the far side of the room. I want to scare lots of little goblins. But it says I leave it on the floor, so I guess I don't have it anymore. Eh, maybe that was its sole purpose. So, all right, turn to 140 and make it to the door on the other side. Let me see if I can scroll something on my map. What are these guys who like? What do they call? I'm gonna call them goblins, even though it didn't tell me that. Okay, I go to the door on the far side. It's number 140. You leave the room and head down a short corridor. Some meter, some meters down, you find yourself at the foot of a staircase. This is a spiral staircase which leads right up into the Citadel Tower. Does that mean this is like the end of the game? I don't know. You climb the stairs cautiously and eventually arrive on a small landing with 2 doorways in front of you. Will you take the left-hand door or I'm getting tired of these arbitrary left or right choices. That's all right. Did I go up? Yeah, I climbed the staircase. I'm just taking notes again. And then I can go to the left-hand door or the right-hand door. This time let's go right. And hey, Arturo says they acted as if you had given them falafel. So we have this running joke because Arturo here hates falafel. So he thinks it's the grossest thing in the world. So yeah, so he's referencing that. Arturo is a real meat eater, a real carnivore, a man's man. Um, let's go to the right door. Because I usually choose left first, or we tend to choose left first. You try the handle and it turns. The door is stiff and you must shove it open. The room inside is some sort of living abode with tables, shelves, and chairs and a collection of animal heads on the walls. On the wall, there is a plush pile carpet on the floor. Suddenly, one of the animal heads turns and looks towards you like an evil dead. It is some kind of a dog, and it barks loudly in a tone which is a warning. And it, both to you and to any of its cronies which may be within earshot. As you watch the head, You do not notice a carpet, what? Which flies up off the floor and whisks past you, clipping your ear. You spin round in time to see one of the chairs slowly reforming itself into a tall man. What business have you here? He booms. Interesting. Okay, he's the tall man from the movie Phantasm. Will you talk? Try to talk to him. Turn to 266. Use one of your spells, 310. Search through your backpack for a weapon or gift. Maybe you would like the spider. Nope, he's gone now. Turn to 54. Leave the room quickly and try the other door. Okay, let's see. What kind of spells do I have that could be useful? I have ESP, maybe? I could try to read his mind. Let me show you my character sheet again. The spells are over here. Stamina, creature, copy. I could make a clone of him. Skill, luck, ESP, fire. Maybe I'll just burn him. Talk with him, says Stu. What do you guys think? Arturo, Rob Bob, Rhymester. Rhymester knows the whole book, so you don't want to spoil me. Eric Johnson, anybody? We got one
Uh,
vote. One vote for talking. Stu
I
says
don't know.
it's potentially friendly. You're going to piss him off. Yeah, it's possible. Stranger things are known to happen. Yeah, let's give it a try. We'll talk to him. Sorry, I already gave the little spider with a human face to somebody else. So I'm just going to talk to you. 266. He is not interested in your chat. Oh, man. Or your stories and questions your authority to be here. Without warning, he turns into a snake, hissing at you, and slithers across the floor towards you. Meanwhile, the dog head on the wall has detached itself and is now floating, floating through the air towards you. Will you use a spell against him or search through your backpack for something to use? Okay, so I can't just draw my sword and charge. I have to use a spell or look at my backpack. Do you have some sort of emblem of authority? I do not, says me. uh, Rhymester said, did you find the secret about what the mix look like? Mix? Uh, I would have written down mix. Sounds like a a slur, but let's see. I got need fleece, and the calicorns are afraid of mice and eat dead snakes. But I don't think I have anything about mix. So I think yeah, I think the answer is no. All right. So what spell could I use? I could try using fire maybe, or use something in my backpack. I will brush their hair with my ornate hairbrush. No, so I guess I'll just try a spell. So that would be paragraph 310. Apparently, I'm missing a lot due to the comments that Rhymester is saying. Silver Mirror maybe suggests to. I guess I could try that. I mean, bear with me as I'm doing my periodic screwdriver work to tighten the arm on this book stand. I just have to do this every once in a while. Some kind of magical creature. Yeah, I mean, sure. I don't know. Let's try the silver mirror. Silver tends to be a special material that does magical things. Well, all right, here we go. You search through your backpack. What will you pull out? A jar of ointment. Here's for your hemorrhoids. No, I don't have that. A pocket myriad. I still don't know what that is, and I don't have it. I do have gold pieces, so I guess I could try that, or I can go back and choose again. That doesn't seem like it's gonna work. People are gonna be like, "Oh, you're giving me a little bit of money. Oh, how wonderful." Was 104 where I was just at? Yeah, I don't think it's gonna. I only have 6 gold pieces anyway. I mean, like that seems like chump change, even if they actually like money. I'm gonna try a spell, I guess. But actually, now that I'm in 104, I have the choice to leave the room quickly if I want to. All right, 310. will you use? Creature copy, illusion, ESP. Ah, I can't use fire, but I already used my illusion. Use your illusion. But I could use creature copy or ESP. Hmm. Now creature copy would clone one of them. There's two of them though. That could give me an edge if a combat is coming up. ESP, I have no idea how it's going to work out, but it could let me find, some special knowledge by reading their mind. Let's see, ESP or creature copy. Shall we do? Arturo votes for ESP. All right, all right. I don't think the dog head is going to have much info, but maybe the guy does. The fancy guy who's transforming. All right, I'll do ESP 393. Eric Johnson also agrees ESP. Okay, cool. Give it a try. Getting to the very last pages of the book. That doesn't mean anything, by the way. It just is what it is. You cast your spell and concentrate on the three changing creatures. Wait, wasn't there just two? Okay, I guess there's three. As you fit them, images flash before you. As you fit them together, you realize these creatures are mix. Ah, that's something that Rhymister alluded to, mix, and are able to transform themselves into anyone or anything they wish. Let me cross off my ESP. It is now used. They are thinking of you and are not the least bit worried by your presence. More likely, they see you as sport. Every so often, though, they are thinking of gold, and their emotions indicate a great greed. Oh my goodness, who would have thought? I mean, I figured these are probably some powerful creatures, and they wouldn't really want gold, especially a small amount of chump change. Perhaps this will be your passport to safety. If you have any gold pieces, turn to 27. Sure, let's do it. Gold pieces. I don't know if 6 is enough, but we'll see. As you hand out the gold pieces or hold out the gold pieces, the three creatures stop in their tracks. They gasp as they look at your coins. An invisible hand snatches them from you and lays them on the ground. They look at you and a voice demands more. You pull out all your gold pieces. All your gold pieces and throw them into the center of the room. A voice rings out. Sorry, I'm banging things around here. Well, stranger, you are indeed welcome here in the house of the mix. That sounds so wrong to say. We thank you for your gift. If you are heading on, take the door ahead of you, but beware of the Ganges. We wish you luck with your journey. You may add 1 luck point for the mixed great wish. Okay, if anybody wonders why I keep cringing, it's because maybe they don't say this in England where this was written, but that's a slur for Irish people, mix. And now they're talking about the mix granting me good luck, and it sounds like the whole like leprechaun Irish kind of a thing. Uh, anyway, let me give myself a luck point. I'm back up to 9, which is my initial value, and I guess I lost all my gold. I think it was all of it, right? Okay, and I guess that's it. And Rhymeter says there's a clue in the library that says mix like gold. Oh, okay. Must have missed that one. I just didn't write down enough, or I was just kind of assuming I would remember things, which is a bad thing to assume if you're going to be continuing your game 2 months later. um, maybe it's pronounced Meeks, says Eric Johnson. Yeah, maybe. And Stu says, beware of the Indus to oh boy. All right, so yeah, beware of the Ganges. If you're heading on, take the door ahead of you. But beware of the Ganges. All right, so 206. Leave it through the door ahead of you. I don't have to remember to make the choice of the door ahead of me because it's doing that for me already. 206. 206. You leave through the door and find yourself at the foot of another spiral staircase leading up into the Black Tower. Another one. Climbing the stairs, you eventually come to a landing where a single door is the only way onwards. You try the door. It opens slowly. Turn to 182. Let me make a quick note here. Uh, the right one I took had the mix. And then I went forward through a door, up another spiral stairs, up to, what did it say, the Black Tower? Black Tower. This is the ugliest map, so don't worry that you're not seeing me draw it, because the ugliest thing known to man. Alright. Try the door to open slowly. Turn to 182. Hi, guys! No, that's a different paragraph. 182. You feel yourself sucked into the room. As if by magic, your torch flickers and dies. The room is pitch black. And I'm not going to read Stu's message. The room is pitch black. From nowhere, yet everywhere, comes a mocking laugh which fills the room. Foolish adventurer, says another voice, which changes its tone from high to low as it speaks. Okay, as it speaks. Foolish adventurer, welcome to the home of the Ganges. Unfortunately, it will be the last room you ever see. Ah, but of course, you cannot see, can you? But we can see you, can't we, brothers? And laughing voices come from all around you. Suddenly, a ghostly, white, luminous face flies towards you. Maybe that was the right picture on the other other page, but it said 102, or a different paragraph. Oh, maybe it was. Yeah, maybe it was that one. Anyway, um, suddenly a ghostly white luminous face flies towards you. You recoil in horror, throwing yourself on the ground and begin to feel very frightened. Lose, oh freaking crap. Lose one skill, two stamina, and one luck point for your fear. That's pretty rough. Then my skill's down to 6. I might want to use a skill spell soon. Stamina is 10, luck is down to 8 again. I'm kind of getting a little wild with my layout here. Okay. What can you do here? Create a fire spell, 85. Illusion, I don't have. Feel in your backpack for an artifact, 322. Draw your sword, 248. Yeah, I'm such a freaking wimp. I mean, so I guess it was the right picture before. I thought it was on a different paragraph. Yeah, this is it. A ghostly white luminous face flies towards you. I mean, alright. I mean, I'm not a hardened warrior. I'm supposed to be a wizard. But yeah, I'm going home and crying to mommy, exactly. Alright, so, I mean, I have the fire spell, so given that's an option, that might be a good thing to do. And of course, it could just say it doesn't do anything, but feel for an artifact. Artifacts could be, again, I have like a freaking hairbrush, a silver mirror, some keys.
The fire spell could light up the room, maybe.
Is that good or bad? Let's try it. Let's try the fire. And Stu says all creatures are scared of fire. If they renege on that, you should be allowed to cheat. I mean, if I just get killed, I'll probably backtrack anyway and like make a different decision. I'm not going to be like, all right, stream's over, bye. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Or you can always cheat by like giving yourself a few extra skill points or something like that. But I try not to cheat. It's just it would kind of suck if I just end the game right here, and you all have to go and get on with your lives rather than watch me play 40-year-old game books. 85. Sounds like it's a bunch of crap, is what it is. You cast your spell and wait for a fireball to appear on the end of your torch. I cross off fire. The torch flickers just enough for you to see that there is a door on the far side of the room, but then goes out again. The Ganges laughs once more at your efforts to thwart them. You feel a blow on the head which knocks you to the ground again. Lose 2 stamina points. Okay, I'm down to 8. Will you? Can't do illusion. Something from my backpack or sword. So it should at least give me the option. Try to sprint to the opposite side of the room to get to the door, because now I know it's there. But it's not an option. So I burnt a fire spell essentially. I guess that's some knowledge. So I don't know. I'm just gonna write this Ganges on this. There's a door on the opposite side. I'm starting to run into my other section of the map again. Do, 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 do. Uh, what the hell can I use for my backpack? Let's try my backpack. See if it gives me any choices for anything I actually have. 322. Oh man, the spider in the jar. I left it with the goblins. Well, I don't have anything else. Why? I don't like that it made me leave it on the ground. I almost want to cheat and say I still have it, but whatever. I have to draw my sword and fight them. 248. Oh god, this doesn't look good. 248. A silence spreads over the room. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream comes from one corner. Ah! And a hideous face appears in the air, shooting towards you, screaming as it comes. Your hair stands on end, and your legs turn to jelly. Somehow, you manage to reach the door, fling it open, and race through. I can't even know that's what I was doing because it did. All right, whatever. However, you have forgotten that you are high in a tower, and the balcony has no rail. Oh, I'm dead because I already used levitation. Okay. You tumble over the ledge and fall straight down. If you have a levitation spell, turn to 103. Otherwise, you land in a crumpled heap at the base of the tower, and your broken body breathes its last breath. Okay, so it is Stu, but keep in mind how early this is. This is they were when they were still figuring it out. This was the era of again fun houses and just random things killing you. Um, all right, so I'm gonna backtrack. Maybe I'll make up that I have the spider guy in the jar. Because I still think I should have been able to keep it after the goblins. Uh, I prefer not to cheat, but since I'm dead, I'm gonna backtrack and cheat a little bit. But let's see. I have to actually check which paragraph I was at. So bear with me a moment while I rewind. Another thing I can do is just make up that I have levitation still. But I feel like this is less of a cheat if I say I have the spider still. That's my rationalization, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, rewind, rewind, rewind. So back at 322, it gave me the choice to go to 39 if I have the spider in the jar. All right, so 39. Spider-Man. I have to fight Spider-Man? See, look at that, I'm fighting Spider-Man. Okay, you take out the jar, and as you do, the Ganges gasp. Rachni, says a voice. You have returned. And with those words, an invisible hand snatches the jar from you, lays it on the ground, and opens the lid. The Spider-Man turns toward you and growls a little growl. Grrr. You draw your sword as the beast scuttles towards you angrily. You must fight the creature, Spider-Man. Skill 7, stamina 5. As soon as the Spider-Man gets its first hit on you, which it could because my skill has been whittled down to 6, and I was too stupid to use the skill spell. Oh, can I use it now? It says you can't use it in a combat. Can I say technically before the combat I use it? uh, yeah, I think you're probably right, Stu. I don't know if this is going to help at all. Because 248 was facing the Ganges with my sword anyway, wasn't it? But now it's just if the Spider-Man gets its first hit on you, turn to 208, it's probably like its venom just kills you. Oh, let's see what happens. At least we have a fight. Uh, all right, so fight, fight, fight. Yeah, so Spider-Man has skill 7 versus I'm gonna assume that I probably, I guess I'm already in the cheating mode, but I think per the rules, I can't use my skill spell to restore skill in a fight, and I think you probably couldn't just do it right before the fight in the same paragraph. That seems like it would probably be cheap. But hey, the game's being cheap. I don't know. Uh, I'll just roll it though. So he has 7 skill versus my 6 skill, and he has stamina 5 versus my 8. That means he has an edge of 1. The white dice are me, and the red dice are him. So essentially, I'm just going to add 1 to his roll because you know he has the edge by 1 in skill. All right, so he already beat me the first round by rolling 11, which I add 1 becomes 12 versus my 10. So I take 2 stamina and I see what happens. I'm sure it's some crap about he has spider venom that just kills me. 208. Yep. The Spider-Man's weapon is its bite, which is highly poisonous. As it bites you, you feel the poison spreading through your system, numbing your nerves. As you stumble and fall to the ground, it attacks you again and again. Your last memory is its ugly little face biting into your neck. You have failed in your mission. All right, second death. The death is really accelerating. But yeah, if I had won, it would just take me back to 248, which is where I were anyway, which where I was anyway. So it's not really helpful to use a spider there. And yeah, that's just the instant death. All right. So what do we do now? We could call it a stream. I could start over this book. I could play a different book. I could say I have levitation right here, just to cheat for already cheating. Um, Let me go know what you guys think. Maybe I'll just say I have levitation. Does that sound good? I'll already consider myself having lost this adventure, but in the interest
Sure.
of staying entertained, let's go with that. I think. Oh, Arturo's a different book. Ah, interesting. That would be an interesting thing to just jump into. And Rhymester said this is a pretty hard book to finish. Some things you must. Oh, all right. I mean that is how it is sometimes, especially in the older books. Um, and it's you could view it as you try again and try to keep track. There's multiple ways to look at it. You could just say it's cheap but BS, throw it away, or you could say, well, I want to persist and keep track of all the items I got. And you also have to again put it in the perspective of it's a 40-year-old book, so I try not to be too harsh on it. But yeah, I'm gonna cheat and say I have levitation still, and go to 103. But Arturo does say to check another book, so I don't know. I might do that. What is the point of giving you the option if you die anyway? Sorry, I'm trying to say I'm gonna not be too harsh of a judge on it. It's 40 years old. It's like, well, you die unless you have levitation. And you go to the paragraph for having levitation, and you die. Why? I get it in a sense though, because if it just said you die, then the player would be like, wait, but I have levitation. That's bull. But I don't know. It could just say in the same paragraph, even levitation won't save you here. Anyway, let's read what it says. You cast your spell, but nothing happens. You fall down and down from the tower, finally landing with a fatal crash on the floor below. The fearsome creatures have robbed you of your magic and now of your life. You have failed in your mission. All right. And Steve says, if you found the Trojans of protect, and if you had ointment, why the f would you use it? That's a good point. These dangerous uh, floating head monsters are coming at me, and I'm like, ointment! I will rub it all over you to soothe your skin. Well, ointment is kind of like almost like a I guess in like the traditional fantasy RPGs, it's kind of just like an alternate way of alternate things from a potion kind of. It probably does a magical effect. I actually remember one role-playing game I used to be really into called GURPS, an actual true role-playing game. GURPS stands for Generic Universal Role-Playing System, so you can play in all different settings. But the fantasy setting, it's like a D&D sort of thing. Anytime you made a potion, or got a potion, you could choose what form it was in. It could be a traditional potion you drink. It could be an unguent. They called it an unguent, which is you rub it on and it absorbs through your skin and gives you the power. And there were a couple other options too, if I recall correctly. And Arturo said it should say you have cheated 3 times in a row and failed monumentally anyway. I guess. So where's our boy Ryan today, by the way? Is he in the chat? The funny thing is, I'm talking to like 4 people, I think, and it says I have 2 concurrent viewers now, down to 1. Maybe some of you guys chatting have left, but yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Do I want to just keep persisting and maybe go back, or I should have written all the paragraphs on the map though, so I could say, hey, maybe I'm back in, the laundry woman room or something. But and Rhymester says the information in the library is important depending on what book you choose. I think I really did read one of them, or maybe even multiple, but I just totally I didn't write it down, and it's been 2 months. So unless it was this stuff about need fleece or whatever, I don't know. Or the cat, I think it was the calicorn thing actually. They're afraid of mice. Yeah, that's what I read in the library. Now that I remember it, I'm gonna stroll over to my shelf. Do 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 do. Thanks to the magic of Bluetooth, I can keep my headset on. Did you know I actually worked on a couple of game books of my own, and I have credits in them? Yeah. Let's see if I can find one of those just so I can show it off. I didn't write the book though. Do, 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 do. I'm just gonna find it to show it off because I'm crazy like that. And now the problem is I don't know where I have it on my shelf. Here's a couple of them. Here's 2 of them I worked on. Here's the third one. Yay. All right, so this one I put a huge amount of effort into working on. This is called Alice. Let me zoom out. Alice in Weird World for the Tunnels and Trolls role playing system. And I didn't write it. I just did a lot of proofreading and play testing and balance fixes and things like that. And I wrote like a combat simulator because it gives you pre-made characters you can choose from, such as Alice herself. It's basically Alice in Wonderland, but with a lot of extra strangeness. And where are the characters that are pre-made? One of the things I did was I wrote a program that would take all the pre-made characters and simulate combats versus all the monsters to help the editor uh, actually balance the game a little bit. And actually, Steve Crompton, who is the I was referring to him as the editor. I guess he is there as editor. He said that this was the most impressive he called it proofreading and playtesting work that he's ever seen. So I was proud of my work on that. And here's my credit is over just a little bit over here. Playtested proofs by Mark Rinn and Paul Wastney. Mark Rinn being me. Yeah, but this is for the tunnel control system. It's a little more involved. I mean, I've done this before. But, you fight like the Jub Jub bird and stuff like that. This one interestingly has a lot of dialogue. Like little man grimaces. I don't want to talk about it. Where's that hookah? All this kind of crazy stuff. Yeah, so I worked on 3 of these tunnel controls game book. This one is I only did a little bit of work on this one. I do have the credit though anyway. And this is they say it's a GM adventure. That just means it's your traditional style role playing game, where if you've ever played D&D, you have one guy who's the referee. They call him the dungeon master. In other role playing games that are not D&D, they usually call it the game master or the GM. But this one is actually both a GM adventure and a solo in one. Solo referring to like a game book style thing. So I don't know why they didn't write both over here, but there is both, and I kind of just did some basic. This is my first time I worked with these people. I did some basic play testing and submitted like 10 different corrections or something like. Mark Rinn, there's me again. The Vaults of Kahara. But in this one, I actually did a hardcore amount of also English grammar corrections and stuff like that. When I submitted my corrections and suggestions, I literally had 200 bullet points, and yeah, so I'm kind of proud of my work in here. But I actually never played the final result though, and there was a lot of back and forth. Um, Actually, there was a lot, there was some frustration for me as well, because I hope he's not watching this. But the guy I was working with, who I named earlier, he's not the best at spelling and grammar, so I had to keep correcting things. And there, even over here where it said forward, originally it said forward, like take a step forward. And then I issued a correction, and in the next revision it was still spelled wrong, but spelled differently than this. And then the third time he finally got it right. Steve Crompton, I love you, guy. But yeah, that was a little frustrating. Hopefully he doesn't watch this though. But yeah, and my third one is in my third credit is in another Tunnels and Trolls adventure called Elven Lords. This was actually an old school one from like the late 80s, but this was a new revision for it, and they call it the Deluxe Color 100 edition. There's only 100 of these of this particular one, but there's also the more basic one that's printed too. Uh, and this one I got to work with the author Michael Stackpole. I actually didn't work with him directly, but it was his work I was proofreading and making fixed suggestions for and everything and playtesting. And here's my credit there too. And I like to think that, I like to think it's super cool because Mike Stackpole is also one of the authors of official canonical Star Wars novels. So I like to say, yeah, I have, 1 degree of separation from an actual Star Wars author. I mean, it's kind of being a little ridiculous, but but it's cool to think about anyway. Anyway, yeah, I'm not really ready for a Tunnels and Trolls playthrough, but I thought I would show those off. And oh yeah, Stackpole is the guy who wrote. Yeah, he's one of the guys who wrote Wasteland too. That's right. He worked with the whole team of Tunnels and Trolls people, Ken St. Andre and Liz Danforth. I don't think Steve Crompton was a part of that one. But yeah, that whole kind of crew. The Flying Buffalo people in Arizona. Um, yeah, so they worked on Wasteland. I'm pretty sure I'm actually an acquaintance of Ken St. Andre. I've thought once in a while that maybe I could do a playthrough of Wasteland and get him to like co-host or something like that. I could probably convince him to do that. I don't know, maybe. Anyway, let me check on your messages. Arturo says play it. I guess referring to one of the books I was showing. But yeah, TNT is a little much right now for me. I have to, they have like a. I could probably do it, but I don't know. I'd have to get some character sheets ready and roll up characters and stuff. Maybe I'll do it another time. And Rhymester says, do you make a map before writing the story, or do you make a map as you write? I didn't write the stories, to be clear. All I did was proofreading and play testing. And as I was, I like to think of it as, at least for the Alice in Weird World, I like to think that credit isn't really doing my work justice. But I didn't write the story and the locations or anything like that. But I did do a lot of pretty heavy work there. Everything from English to play testing. Some of the times they in the draft mode it'll say go to paragraph 62, and 62 is the totally wrong paragraph. So I found a whole bunch of things like that in some of these adventures. And again for Alice, I was doing a lot of like balancing. Like I wrote a program that said simulate 1,000 battles with the first pre-made character against all of the enemies. And then I also figured in variations, like if you first get this special sword that makes you stronger in combat, now also simulate 1,000 for that. And just being able to have probabilistic outcomes helped tune the game a little bit. So I think I could say like this is maybe a little bit of a spoiler, but you find the Jabberwock in Alice, and as written, it was something like, unless you find the Vorpal sword, which if you remember in the poem Jabberwocky, they used the Vorpal sword to kill it. But unless you use the Vorpal sword, it was literally impossible to beat the Jabberwock just by the math. And that wasn't necessarily intended, so he kind of nerfed the Jabberwock a little bit in response. And then you have a pretty good chance of beating him still with the Vorpal sword, but it's by no means guaranteed. So I don't know, I just kind of did a lot of work, but I didn't really do any writing or making maps and stuff per se. And what else? Do you have either White Warlord or Black Baron by Joe D versus Eric? No, I don't, but I heard of those only recently, and they look super cool. They are kind of like Kind of like first-person shooters in game book form is what I've seen. But I used to have the Lone Wolf books and Gray Star the Wizard by those same people. I think Joe Deaver and Gary Chalk. And Rhymester says, "Have you seen the new Fighting Fantasy Adventure card game based on the book, but in card?" I saw I think I saw a Kickstarter, but I was kind of like, I don't know, I don't know if I'm feeling that. And lately, I'm trying to err on the side of unless I absolutely feel in my heart of hearts that I must have a game, I don't buy it. Because as you can see a little bit, my shelves are overpopulated in the back. I just have so much stuff, and some of it spilled onto the floor. I've been making a new hobby out of selling one game I have per week on eBay, something I haven't played in a long time. So in other words, I'm just trying not to buy stuff unless it's something I really, really want. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. It was fun to just chat about things randomly like that. But what am I doing next is the ultimate question. Um, I also have some interesting looking game books by, I think his name is Jonathan Green. He wrote the Beowulf one that I played through. I also have a Dracula one, and the Dracula game book looks about as long as the original novel, which is quite cool and crazy. Um, I have a Finding Fantasy book by Rhianna Pratchett, who is the daughter of the author Terry Pratchett. Why don't I go and grab another Fighting Fantasy book? This is supposed to be a Fighting Fantasy 40th celebration, so maybe I should grab another one of the Fighting Fantasy books from 1983. Do, do, do. I'm strolling on over. I do have Forest of Doom. That's one of them from 1983. Uh, what else I got? City of Thieves I've streamed before, and I failed horribly. Warlock of Firetop Mountain is the very first one, I believe. Return to Firetop Mountain. That's a relatively newer one. I'll go grab Forest of Doom. Bear with me a second. Yeah, so this is Forest of Doom with this lizard man villain who always appeared in the various covers that have been made for Forest of Doom. I don't have House of Hell. No, I have the app for that. That one is so freaking hard. I mean, I've beaten a lot of these old school fighting fantasy games, even though they're hard. But that House of Hell one, holy crap, is that hard? I don't know. Shall we jump into Forest of Doom? It's probably going to be as hard as this. I beat this on the app recently, actually. I didn't think it was that hard. But it's possible the app let me cheat a little. I don't remember. Yeah, why don't we jump into it? Why the hell not? House of Hill is one of the hardest to finish, says Ryan Mister. Yeah, I mean that's Ryan Mister. That's my opinion too. I used to like a couple that I don't have right now. No, actually I do have Trial of Champions. That's one of the ones I liked. But I also used to like Sword of the Samurai because it was I used to like the setting of the kind of medieval Japan, and it had a special honor system. You had two cool things. You had the honor system and a samurai power. So you can choose one samurai power like what the hell was there? Heroic leaping was was one of them, and you had an honor attribute, so you had to be honorable, and anything that you did that was dishonorable would make you lose honor points. And if your honor ever reached zero, you would commit seppuku because you had to obey your code of the samurai or whatever. And Eric says Lizard looks like he's flashing gang signs. He's like, "Yo," exactly. And I guess I don't do a very good gangster, but yeah, I'm far too white. Okay, so I don't know. I guess I'll scroll a character sheet on this piece of paper, and let's jump into Forest of Doom. And it's already 10:42, so uh, I probably won't. I probably won't even get to the point of being able to die in this wizard books. Forest of Doom. Only the foolhardy or the very brave would willingly risk a journey into the darkwood forest, where strange twisting paths wind their way into the eerie depths. Who knows what monstrous creatures lurk in the threatening shadows, or what deadly adventures await the unwary traveler? Do you dare to enter? In a desperate race against time deep within Darkwood, your quest is to find the missing pieces of the legendary Hammer of Stonebridge, which was fashioned by the dwarfs to protect peaceful Stonebridge against its ancient doom. Two dice, a pencil, and an eraser are all you need to embark on this thrilling adventure of sword and sorcery, complete with its elaborate combat system and a score sheet to record your gains and losses. Many dangers lie ahead, and your success is by no means guaranteed, no, by no means certain. It is up to you to decide which path to take, which dangers to risk, and which adversaries to fight. And here's a little squiggly thing with a star. I like this original Fighting Fantasy artwork. I always felt like, it would show you're encountering a monster and they're like looking right at your soul. I feel like they're really looking at me, the illustration. But the Scholastic ones, oh man, classic ones hurt my soul. They don't look into my soul. So let me tell you a little story. You know, when I played most of these games in my heyday, I was a kid using my older brother's books because he was just, really into buying tons of them. And I never really owned them myself per se. And over the years, many of them got overused, and I think some of them probably got destroyed in a basement flood and things like that. And essentially, a few years ago, I bought a bunch of my own because, like, now that I'm doing this streaming thing, it would be fun to play them again on streams. And so I bought a whole batch of them. But what I got are these. I didn't know that there was a huge difference in these editions, but I got these ones from Scholastic. And this is just one example. And off the bat, I was kind of a little put off by the cover because all they did was they took like the focal point, like the chief monster or whatever was on the cover. They extracted a little bit of this elaborate, illustration or painting, whatever, and just circled that and showed it. So that's a little bit weird, but I was like, whatever. As long as it's a good book, still, it doesn't matter. But then I looked at all the illustrations, and they redid all of them with. I'm trying to find a good one, a good example. They redid all of them instead of the classic ones, and they look like they were made using some kind of a digital paint tool, like somebody swiping on their iPad or something. And they're not bad for what they are, but compared to the original ones, they're not the same. And so I kind of regret buying a huge batch of these because they're just not as good with the illustrations, in my opinion. But at the same time, I don't feel like I want to repurchase each one just for better illustrations. But anyway, one of the illustrators who I really liked, I can't recall his name. He died recently, unfortunately. I think it was the same one from this Citadel of Chaos. Uh, yeah, Russ Nicholson. I really like his illustrations. I definitely like again when the monsters look well. They have a cool style to them, and they look like they're really going to tear your guts out or something like that. Russ Nicholson, he died like a few months ago, I think. But anyway, let's get into Forest of Doom. And Rhymester says some of the original Fighting Fantasy Penguin books are very expensive to buy. That's probably what we had. It's a shame that so many of them got ruined. But we were kids, not really keeping good track of, or taking good care of our stuff or whatever. And we played the heck out of these. It's possible my brother still has some of them remaining. I'll have to ask him, but I doubt it. There was definitely a lot of like a common theme of he would store things in my grandparents' basement because they had the space, and it got really the basement wasn't very they needed a dehumidifier but didn't have one, and I think it flooded a few times. So he wound up throwing out so many things he stored there, like old role playing game books and comic books and things. And Rhymes says, I think the illustration did not give the new company the rights to the picture. That's probably why. Oh well. Anyway, Forest of Doom, which is, by the way, which number is it? It is number 8. Was this originally from 83 too? I think it was, but it's kind of impressive if they put out. Yeah, did they put out like 1 through 8 or possibly even beyond that all in 1983? Yeah, I think 8 might be the cutoff, but that's still impressive. Because well, I don't think these numbers are right. This is just the wizard numbering system, maybe. In other words, I think Creature of Havoc came much later, didn't it? Maybe Reister can tell me. He seems to be a hardcore fighting fantasy dude. I don't know. But anyway, I'm pretty sure Forest of Doom was originally. Well, yeah, it just said originally 1983, but I don't know if all these earlier ones are, because maybe Creature of Havoc is not, and probably House of Hell is not. In fact, I'm pretty damn sure House of Hell is something like 87. But whatever, not too important. How to fight the creatures of Darkwood Forest. Before embarking on your adventure, you must first create your character by rolling dice to determine your skill, stamina, and luck scores. Enter these on the adventure sheet on pages 18 to 19. These scores will change during the adventure. Write on the adventure sheet. Yeah, this is obvious crap. So your skill is 1 die plus 6, stamina is 2 dice plus 12, luck is 1 die plus 6. Are you still with us, Rob Bob? I think he's asleep. There he is. I hear him. I hear his microphone rustling.
Yeah, I'm here. I said.
Okay. One thing that I want to mention about the Tunnels and Trolls stuff that pissed me off is I bought the Japanese versions of Alice in the Weird World and the Vault of Kahorror because they were in like a different format, and I just thought it would be neat to have something I contributed to in the Japanese form. And I checked for my credits, though they stripped my credits from both of those. So I think in their view, well, they were like, well, if he just proofread it, it doesn't matter. This is a totally different document. It doesn't count, and they stripped my credit. But and here's a funny thing too. I'm gonna complain to you guys, even though I should be complaining to somebody else probably. But I was reading the Japanese Amazon page for Alice in the Weird World, and one of the Japanese customers said, "This is such a well balanced adventure," and you literally don't see that on any Tales and Trolls books commenting about it being well balanced because they're usually not. So I was like, "Look at this! This is the first time Tales and Trolls gets a Tales and Trolls book gets praised for being well balanced, and who did a lot of effort at balancing it, and who doesn't get the credit in the Japanese version? This guy." So I'm a little bitter about that, but maybe I'll just sell the Japanese versions. I don't know. Anyway, let's try to focus a little bit. All obvious stuff mostly. The battles, we know how that works. And yeah, about testing your luck in battles. Um, it says it somewhere else. Basically, though, with using your luck in battles, you can make a luck roll to take less damage or to deal more damage, essentially. But you lose luck each time you do it, so it's only good to do when you're desperate, I guess. Escaping from battles. Some pages you'll be given the option to escape, only if it's offered. If you do run away, the creature automatically scores 1 wound on you. Subtract 2 stamina points as you flee. Such is the price of cowardice. You can use luck on the wound in a normal way. Anytime the game tells you to test your luck, you make a luck roll. Must roll equal to or less than on 2 dice, and then you subtract 1 from your luck score. And using luck in battles, yeah, if you just wounded the creature, so you win the combat round, you can test your luck. So you have to roll equal to or less than your luck score. And if you were lucky, you subtract an extra 2 points from the creature's stamina, so it loses 4 instead of the normal 2. But if you're unlucky, you must restore 1 point to the creature's stamina, so it takes 1 damage instead of 2. And you subtract 1 luck every time you do this. And on the flip side, if the creature wounds you by beating you in the combat round, it's the same thing but flipped essentially. If you're lucky, you restore 1 point of stamina. If you're unlucky, you subtract an extra point. You can restore stuff. You cannot use 2 magic swords. I laugh, but actually we're just talking about tunnels and trolls. Tunnels and trolls, yeah, you can wield 2 weapons. You just have to add up the requirements. If a dagger requires 5 strength and 5 dexterity to use, and a sword requires 10 strength and 10 dexterity to use, then if you have 15 strength and 15 dexterity. You can use both of them. Stamina and provisions. All right, this one actually has provisions. The last game we played, Citadel of Chaos, doesn't have provisions because I think the idea was with the spells, you could just choose the stamina spell to heal yourself, but provisions can heal you. It's a very common thing in fighting fantasy games, a very common mechanic. You start with enough provisions for 10 meals. So you have 10 provisions, and each time you eat a meal, you may rest and eat only when allowed by the instructions, and then you may only eat one meal at a time. But when you do so, you get 4 stamina healed. It can never go above your initial value. And luck, blah, blah, blah. Alternative dice. If you don't have dice, you can flip to a random page, and that's your die roll. It's kind of cool that it has that. And I actually remember the Lone Wolf game books. What they had was in the back, they had like a grid. Lone Wolf used like 10-sided dice. He would roll one die from, and the roll would be from 1 to 10. And what they had was like this grid. So if you didn't have dice, you could just close your eyes and randomly take your pencil and you would point to one of the values, and that was your roll. And I remember actually using that on a long car trip when my dad was driving us to a vacation place. And so that was kind of convenient to have in that situation because it's hard to roll a 10-sided die in the car. Anyway, I keep getting distracted with anecdotes and stuff. But yeah, equipment and potions. You will start your adventure with a bare minimum of equipment, but you may find or buy other items during your travels. You are armed with a sword and dressed in leather armor. You have a backpack to hold your provisions and any treasures you may come across. You may also take a magical potion which will aid you on your quest. Each bottle of potion contains enough for 2 measures. Buy ointment, sister. It can be used twice during an adventure. You choose one of the following: a potion of skill, a potion of strength. Why are they calling up? I don't know. I'm just being ridiculous, but given that the last game had a spell of strength, which made you like be able to bash doors, it's kind of funny that a potion of strength just restores your hit points, essentially your stamina. Potion of fortune restores luck points and adds 1 to initial luck. So technically, it wouldn't be a bad play to just take a potion of fortune and drink it immediately. I mean, it would be a bad play, but it wouldn't be a totally useless play. You would add 1 to your initial luck. You can use them anytime during the adventure. Does that mean even in a combat? I guess so. Hints on play. There is only one true way through Darkwood Forest. I remember there's a weird situation where you can get caught in a loop sort of. Something keeps looping you back to the start in this adventure. You could retry until you get it right, though. Make notes and draw a map as you explore, etc., etc. Not all areas contain treasure. Sure, of course. There are many wild goose chase passages, and while you may indeed progress through to your ultimate destination, it is by no means certain that you will find what you are searching for. By the way, Rhymesters, aren't you're the dude who has like the nice looking fighting fantasy maps on like Instagram and stuff, right? Maybe I can give you a little plug if you want to say your Instagram handle, or maybe you're on also other social media too. I don't know. Anyway, the one true way involves a minimum of risk, and any player, no matter how weak on initial dice rolls, should be able to get through fairly easily. May the luck of the gods go with you on the adventure ahead. All right, so I can, yeah, simple character sheet here. I'll just draw it out because I don't have time to copy it. But yeah, basically it's the same kind of thing as before, except we don't even have spells, but we do have a special. Well, we have a couple special sections we didn't have before. Jewels, potions, and provisions remaining. I'll just wing it. Let's see. I don't think you really need a special jewel section, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's jewels from Pulp Fiction. Skill. Uh, in it. No, I'm gonna do it a different way. I'm gonna do how I often do. I'm gonna write how I often do in role-playing games. I put the initial in parentheses and the current right after that. Stamina. Luck. Okay, items, sure. I start with a sword and leather armor. And those don't necessarily really do anything. But if you somehow like lost your sword, the game might say lose one skill or something like that. Gold, jewels, potions. Sure, I'll put I guess gold over here. I'm suspecting jewels isn't necessary, but I'll write it anyway. Potions. Yeah, so I can choose one of those potions. Maybe I'll roll my stats first before I choose. Like if I have a insanely good luck, I probably won't pick the fortune. But I have 10 provision, which is good. Yeah, let's roll. Skill. I like to cheat. I have a mulligan rule where if I roll a 1 for skill or luck, I give it a reroll. And for stamina, if it's lower than like I forget what I usually say. If it's lower than, let's say 4 or less, I'll give that a reroll. That's a 2 die roll. By the Sorry, it wasn't the right. I mean, the Ganges kill you anyway. Yeah. Right. All right. So here's my skill. I rolled a 1, so I'm using my my mulligan. I have infinite mulligans. All right, we're going with 9 skill, stamina. I have 7. You had 12, right? So it's 19. Let me verify that. Stamina, stamina. Yeah, you had 12. So I have what did I say, 19? Yeah. It almost seemed too good for a moment. I guess I was just so always beat up before. And luck, 9. Yeah. I'm always rolling these kind of mediocre numbers. I mean, they're not bad or anything, but I think somebody must have done this. Come up with a good point assignment alternative. I don't know what the number of points would be though. But what I mean is you would like start at like maybe the maybe 6, 12, and 6, and maybe you have some number of points to assign. Like maybe well, stamina might have to be a separate number of points. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. But anyway, basically, there should be an alternative where you could assign points, and maybe you could choose to have a really high skill, but you'd have to sacrifice it in stamina or luck, or both. Anyway, someone probably has come up with something like that. Anyway, potion, yeah, skill, stamina, or luck potion, essentially. Uh, it's always really nasty when you lose skill, but it tends to be relatively uncommon to actually lose skill. And luck is used up as you know par for the course. You use it up as you play, kind of naturally. I don't know. And with stamina, you have all these provisions healing you, so I think I'm inclined not to take the stamina potion. Maybe I will just take skill. Now I'm waffling. Maybe luck. I'll do skill. And Stu says an old man offers to trade you his hemorrhoid ointment for 3 skill points and 2 luck. Make the trade. If you say yes, go to 372. If you say no, might as well close the book and go to bed. Okay. Well, this looks trippy when I have this like this. Whoa. Now we're into the it's late and I'm being tired and silly portion of the stream. Thank you for the 1 like I got, guys. All right, let's get going here. Background. You are an adventurer, a sword for hire, and have been roaming the northern borderlands of your kingdom. Um, Let me try to get this a little bit better. Having always spurned the dullness of village life, you now wander the lands in search of wealth and danger. I always love that kind of explanation for fantasy role playing silliness. Like you're just bored of this the mundane life. You'd rather kill monsters and take their money. The world holds no fears for you as you are a skillful warrior, well practiced in the art of slaying evil men and beasts with your trusty sword. Not once during the last 10 days since entering the northern borderlands have you set eyes upon another person. That's because I've slain all of them. All of them. Like you're evil, hack, you're evil. All right. This does not worry you at all, as you are happy with your own company and enjoy the slow, sunny days, hunting, eating, and sleeping. It is evening, and having feasted on a dinner of rabbit, spit roasted on an open fire, rabbit roasted on an open fire, you settle down to sleep beneath your sheepskin blanket. And now you can have a rabbit skin blanket if you eat enough of them, I guess. There's a full moon, and the light sparkles on the blade of your broadsword, skewered into the ground by your side. I should probably put it in a sheath or something rather than stabbing it into the ground. You gaze at it, wondering when you will next have to wipe the blood of some vile creature from its sharp edge. These are strange lands, inhabited by weird and loathsome beasts, goblins, trolls, and even dragons. As the flame of your camp gently dies, you begin to drift asleep. Images of screaming green-faced trolls dance in your head. It's kind of reminding me of like Christmas songs and stuff. So you got the rabbit spit roasted on an open fire. Green-faced trolls flicker through your mind. Anyway, images of screaming green-faced trolls flicker through your mind. Suddenly, in the bushes to your left, you hear the loud crack of a twig breaking under a clumsy foot. You leap up and grab your sword from the ground. You stand motionless but alert, ready to pounce on your unseen adversary. Then you hear a groan followed by the dull thud of a body falling to the ground. Is it a trap? Slowly, you walk over to the bush where the noise is coming from and carefully pull back the branches. You look down to see a little old man with a great bushy beard, his face contorted with pain. You crouch down to remove the iron helmet covering his balding head and notice two crossbow bolts protruding from the stomach of his plump, chainmail clad torso. Picking him up, you carry him over to the fire and roast him on an open fire as well. No, and stir the dying embers into life. After covering him with the sheepskin blanket, you manage to get the old man to drink a little water. He coughs and moans. He sits up rigid, eyes staring fixedly ahead, and starts to shout. I'll get them! I'll get them! Don't you fear, Gillibrand. Big Leg is coming to bring you the hammer. Oh, yes, indeed I am. Oh, yes. The dwarf, whose name you presume to be Big Leg, is obviously delirious from the poison-tipped bolt lodged in his stomach. You watch as he slumps down again to the ground, then whisper his name in his ear. His eyes stare unblinkingly at you as he again starts to shout. I thought he was going to die right there, but he's shouting instead. I'll read your comment in a moment too. Oh, we got a lot of stories still here. A little bit more. He screams. What does he scream? Ambush! Look out! Ambush! Og! The hammer! Take the hammer to Gillibrand! Save the dwarfs! Wait, why do I want to save the dwarfs? His eyes half close, and the pain seems to ease a little. And as the delirium subsides, he speaks to you again in a low whisper. Help us, friend. Take the hammer to Gillibrand. Only the hammer will unite our people against the trolls. But I like their visions dancing in my head. We were on our way to Darkwood in search of the hammer, ambushed by the little people. The little people, eh? Others killed. The map in my pouch will take you to the home of Yaz Tromo, the master mage of these parts. He has great magics for sale to protect you against the creatures of Darkwood. Take my gold. I beg you to find the hammer and take it to Gillibrand, my lord of Stonebridge. You will be well rewarded. Big Leg opens his mouth to start another sentence, and nothing comes out except his last dying breath. You sit down and wonder Big Leg's words. Who is Gillibrand? Who is Yastromo? What is all the fuss about this dwarvish hammer? You reach over to the still body of Big Leg and remove the pouch from the leather belt around his waist. Inside you find 30 gold pieces and a map opposite. Here is the map. Now I will catch up with Stu. Stu says, wait, all of a sudden your hemorrhoids are flaring up terribly. If you still have the ointment, go to 327. If not, go to 281. And we don't want you to be in suspense, so we'll just let you know that your adventure ends at 281. Yeah, sure. Okay, so this is the map that we have. We've just given this by the dwarf who just died. Yeah, we have this kind of really big forest. That's most of the adventure. We have hills to the east. There's a river that crosses through the forest. Yes, Tromo's tower is down here. It almost looks like it's the bark, the trunk of a tree, and this whole forest is a tree. Storm Bridge is up here, and there's another river. Is Storm Bridge where I am? I don't remember. Anyway, I have 30 gold. I will write that down. Do, 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 do. Oh, there's more. Jingling the coins in your hand. You think of the possible rewards which may await you just for returning a hammer to a village of dwarfs. That's gotta be easy, right? You decide to try to find the hammer in Darkwood Forest. It's been a few weeks since your last good battle, and what is more, you are likely to be well paid for this one. With your mind made up, you settle down to sleep, having taken back the sheepskin blanket from poor Big Leg. Give me that, you don't need it anymore, you're dead. In the morning, you bury the old dwarf and gather up your possessions. You examine the map, look up to the sun, and find your bearings. Whistling merrily, you head off south at a good pace. Yeah, I guess I'm at the top in Stormbridge or whatever. Eager to meet this man Yastromo and see what he has to offer. Now, turn over. Okay, turning over. Oh, do I start it? Yastromo. Okay. Your walk to Yastromo's takes a little over half a day, and you arrive at his stone tower home dirty and hungry. As the tower is set back on the edges of Darkwood, some 50 meters away from the path you have been following, it is difficult to find. Finally, you walk up to the huge oak door, somewhat relieved to find that it does exist and that Big Leg had not been speaking wildly in his delirium. A large brass bell and gong hang from the stone archway. Gong. As you ring the bell, a shiver runs down your spine and you realize that the loud bong invades a deep silence. Who said anything about a bong? Which you had not noticed before. There are no sounds of birds or animals to be heard. You wait anxiously at the door and hear slow footsteps descending stairs from the tower above. A small wooden slot in the door slides open and two eyes appear and examine you. Well, who are you? Demands a grumpy voice through the hole. And what did Stu say? You made that joke last time. Good for you. I would have made it also. Excuse me, do you know Big Leg? Big Leg? You mean Tiny Leg? Ha ha ha. Sure. Ah. All right. Well, who are you? You answer that you are an adventurer. Who talks like that? I'm an adventurer. I'm an adventurer in search of the Master Mage Yaz Tromo, intending to purchase magical items from him to combat the creatures of Darkwood Forest. Oh, well, in that case, if you're interested in buying some of my merchandise, you had better come up. I am Yaztromo, Big Leg. I'm surprised it gives me this option. But sometimes these books do that, and I have played through this before, just to be clear, even in recent years. But at the same time, I don't remember specifics. I had the iOS app, and it was probably like 8 years ago at this point that I played it. Anyway, he turns and slowly climbs the stone stairs. Will you follow him up the stairs or draw your sword and attack him? Turn to 261. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm tempted just to see I'm gonna peek at what it says. Does that sound? We know it's not gonna go well. It's either gonna be insta kill or he says stop being an idiot and you lose two stamina and you just go to 261 anyway. But I'm gonna be cheesy and see what is at 254. Sorry, at 54. As you draw your sword, Yastromo turns around and casually advises you not to be foolish, as his magic is great. And you can still attack him or go up the stairs to 261. 261 was the original choice. All right, let's see the insta kill message. There's no way you don't die from this, right? I'm just being silly now. Yep, they give you quite an explanation for your insta kill. You charge at Yastromo, but only reach the first stair when he lifts his right arm and nonchalantly mumbles a few words. Time seems to stand still amid bright flashes, and your body feels like a bubbling liquid inside. He's like boiling my blood or something, or my inside. When the turmoil subsides, you know something terrible has happened. The stone stair feels cold. Sorry, I got a really bad itch on my forehead. The stone stair feels cold on your body, and you realize the problems of a life as a frog. Yes, Tromo bends down and picks you up, saying with his booming voice, "Well, foolish warrior, enjoy your new life." With that, he lets out a deafening laugh and nearly drops you. Then he shuffles to the oak door opening, throws you into the tall grasses outside. Your adventure ends here. Okay, so I knew it was going to be that essentially. Or it was going to be don't do that, take some hit points, and go back and go up the stairs anyway. But I just thought it would be fun to check it out. Okay, oh wow, yeah, you get a lot of options. I forgot about this. Now it's coming back to me though. And Stu says, "Why does your adventure end there? Now you can meet Miss Piggy and start the Muppets." Okay. Is that a reference to a Muppet Show song or something? I don't quite get it. Or a Muppet movie kind of song or something. You follow the huffing and puffing old man. For huffing and puffing old man, he sure is powerful. You're Kermit, I'm saying. Oh, okay. Stu says I'm Kermit. Piggy. You follow the huffing and puffing old man in his tattered robes up the spiral staircase to a large room at the top of the tower. Shelves, cupboards, and cabinets line the walls, all filled with bottles, jars, weapons, armor, and all manner of strange artifacts. Yastromo shuffles past the general clutter and slumps down in an old oak chair. He reaches into. Kirby, it's me, Miss Piggy. Kirby. He reaches into his top pocket and pulls out a fragile pair of gold rimmed spectacles. Look, you can see my phone. Let me restore order again to my setup here. Placing these on his nose, he picks up a piece of slate and chalk from a table next to his chair and begins to write frantically. He then hands you the slate. Phew, it's quite a list. It's almost overwhelming. But I have 30 gold pieces, so I can buy a lot of these things. So, what we have is here's the list: potion of healing, potion of plant control. Going into a forest, that could be useful. You know, there's going to be some killer evil vines or something, or or the tree monster from Evil Dead or something like that. Potion of stillness, potion of insect control. You know they're going to have some spider or bee problems or something. Um, Potion of anti-poison, holy water, ring of light, boots of leaping, rope of climbing, net net of entanglement, armband of strength, glove of missile dexterity, rod of water finding, garlic buds, headband of concentration, fire capsules, and nose filters. Stu says buy it all. I could probably buy a lot. That's 30, right? How many items are there? Three. I mean, yeah, I can't buy them all, literally. Because, like, I have 30. So these first two are 5. The next two are 10, 15, 20. These are 26, 31. So 31. If I bought everything from the top to this point where my pencil is, that would be 31. But you can buy most of them. It's pretty cool, I guess. It's more like you're choosing which ones you don't want. Stu says, "Can you shoplift by the turn the shopkeeper into a frog spell?" Yeah, he apparently knows that spell. He tells you that all the instructions for use are written clearly on the labels attached to the items, together with their suggested use, their prescription instructions. He sighs and tells you that unfortunately the magic in the items only works once, but they are the best you can buy for the money. If you decide to buy any of the items, pay for them by reducing the amount of gold on your adventure sheet and add the items to the relevant sections on it. Yastromo then asks you the reason for the purchase of the items, and you tell him your story and your decision to continue the quest of the luckless Big Leg. Ah, yes, Yastromo says slowly, rubbing his chin. I heard that the good dwarfs of Stonebridge had lost their fabled warhammer. Without it, their king is unable to arouse his people, despite the fact that the hill trolls threaten their village. Rumor has it that an envious king of another village of dwarfs sent an eagle to Stonebridge to steal the hammer, which it managed to do. They took the tip that what people always say in like the Lord of the Rings, you should just, they should have just sent the eagles to drop the ring into Mount Doom. So they were trying something like this here, I guess. Sent an eagle to Stonebridge to steal the hammer, which it managed to do, but as it flew back over Darkwood, it was attacked by death hawks, and the hammer dropped into the forest and was lost. Apparently, two forest goblins found the hammer, but could not decide who was to keep it. They wrestled for hours but gave up. Then they discovered that the handle unscrewed from the head, and the argument was settled. One kept the head and the other kept the handle. That's so stupid. Then they parted, each happy with his new treasure. Who knows if they still have them? And let's see. Eric says, shame there's not a potion of discount. Yeah, right? You buy that for 5 gold, and if everything else costs one less, then woohoo. Let's see. Who knows if they still have them? So I'm afraid your problems are. There's a lot of reading in this intro. Your problems are doubled. I can tell you that the head is made of bronze and the handle is made of polished ebony. Is that worth noting? Let's do it. It couldn't hurt. So the hammer is in two parts. Handle is polished ebony, Polish ebony, ebony. No, polished ebony, and the what is it? Both the head is bronze. I probably don't really need to do this, but just in case they try to throw some red herrings at me or something. And both have the letter G inscribed. The letter G, letter G, letter G. You thank Yastromo. Well, let's see. Both have the letter G inscribed on them. Your task is not easy. Good luck. Thank Yastromo and leave the room by the spiral staircase. Turn to 177. But before we do that, let's actually buy the stuff. So, I know it was the letter B. I'm being creative. But Stu says, I think you should leave, go get a job, and make enough money to buy everything. What's the rush? Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, I remember there's I mean, it's probably, I don't know. I'm sure some of these have no use, but I bet a lot of them are like good for like one particular situation. I remember the nose filters are good. That's all I remember. So I'm going to buy some nose filters to start because there's some kind of a plant that spews like, I don't know, spores or something. Maybe that would mean a fungus, not a plant. But whatever it was, you want to like not breathe it in. All right, so I have 27 left. If anybody wants to throw out a suggestion, feel free to do so, including you, Mr. Rob Bob. Otherwise, I'll just kind of pick them all myself. Uh, yeah, I mean, they all sound, situationally useful, essentially. I mean, Potion of Healing does sound generally useful. Um, again, I do have tons of provisions, though.
Like an armband of strength, maybe.
All right, let's go with Arturo's suggestion of insect control. Rob Bob says armband of strength. Rhymester says anti-poison.
Does my mic sound better now, by the way?
Yeah, it sounds pretty good.
Okay.
Stu says plant control, insect control, and anti-poison. All right, that's multiple votes for insect control and anti-poison, so we're definitely going to get those. Let's see. Potion of anti-poison. That costs 2. The 25 gold left. I'm just saying insect control. That is 2, so we're down to 23. And what do you say, Rob Bob? Armband of strength.
Yeah.
So we have 20 gold, armband of strength. Um, did we get plant control yet? We did not. Let's get that. 2 gold pieces. Still have 18. Stu suggests rope and holy water also. Yeah, sure. Is rope even there? Rope of climbing. It can't just be a rope. It's a rope of climbing. Well, maybe that means it has a magical property or something where you could like magically attach to things. I don't know. Just making it up. Rope of climbing is 3. And Stu's other suggestion was the holy water. Sure. That costs 3 as well, so we're down to 12. Is that a potion of holy water or just holy water? Okay, so if anybody would like to see the sheet, um, we got we just bought nose filter, armband of strength, rope of climbing, and holy water. And in the potion section, we bought anti-poison, insect control, and plant control. And we still have 12 gold, so we can buy like I don't know, like 4-ish more things, 4 or 5, maybe even 6 things. Let's see. Stu wants me to get the potion of Rob Bob Silence. All right, let me choose some things myself. Ring of Light. How about Rod of Water Finding? That costs 2. Water. It's a dowsing rod. Down to 10 gold. Headband of Concentration. Okay, I laugh at your bad jokes too. Headband of Concentration. That way I can play the game concentration. I'm making even worse jokes than Stu is. All right, I got 7 left. Rhymester suggested the holy water and anti-poison, so you know they're good. But yeah, 7 left. Yeah, it does feel like it's basically like which 4 or 5 things don't you want, essentially. And I may regret skipping healing, but I feel like with the provisions you get so much opportunity to heal yourself that I might as well take other things. Potion of stillness, sure, why not? That's 3, and I have 4 left. We could get 2 things that cost 2, or just one thing that costs 3, and then it's kind of a leftover of 1. It might be good to have 1 left over. I don't know. Ring of Light, Boots of Leaping. How about Boots of Leaping for 2 and Garlic Buds for 2? Or Glove of Missile Dexterity. I don't know. Let's go. I don't know. I don't remember if there's vampires. I don't know what else Garlic Buds would be good for. What was the first one I just said? Uh, I don't know. Boots of Leaping, Garlic Buds. All right, now we can enter the forest armed with a sword, leather armor, nose filter, armband of strength, rope of climbing, holy water, rod of water finding. We're like hooked up here. It's insane. Headband of concentration. I'm imagining I look like Rambo, except it helps me concentrate well instead of like being a badass with a machine gun. Boost of leaping, garlic buds, and in the potion section we have potion of skill, anti-poison, insect control, plant control, and stillness. And our info that we learned thus far is there are two parts to the hammer. Handle has polished ebony, head is bronze, and they both have the letter G inscribed. And yeah, the letter G. Let's enter the forest of doom. It is of doom, right? Not of death. Yeah, of doom. If it was a forest of death, that would be totally different. 177. Outside in the bright light, you notice the dead quietness again. A narrow path leads northward from the tall grass surrounding Yaztromo's tower into the dense undergrowth of Darkwood Forest. I'm kind of tempted to pull up Rhymester's maps, but I'm not gonna. I think you guys should have a look at them though, if you want. Yaztromo. Let me. I'm drawing on the map. I should show you when I'm doing that, so at least you're not like, what is he doing? Yaztromo's tower, and this goes right to forest entrance, right? Yep. Darkwood Forest entrance. My wonderful chicken scratch. Okay. A few strides. In a few strides, you are surrounded by the dark and tangled forest. Stones and knotted roots seem to hide in the shadows, and you can almost believe that they are trying to trip you up. The light fades quickly, and the air becomes moist and unpleasant. Deeper and deeper you go into the gloom. Eventually, the path forks. There's a fork in the path. On either side of a huge old tree. To go west, turn to 289. I'm going to start writing paragraphs. Let's see. This is 177. Turn west. Go to 289. East to 160. What do you think, Rob Bob? West or east?
West.
West it is. 289. The narrow, overgrown path continues to weave its way through the overcrowded forest. Strange animal cries echo through the trees. It's not long before you arrive at another junction in the path. I kind of drew it like a northwest south, northwest northeast fork, but I should probably just draw sharp angles. That's probably more accurate. I was imagining a fork like it described, like when you're on a fork in the road. It's usually not a sharp angle, but it's probably better if I stick with straightforward directions. West and east. So west is it's taking us to 289 here, and from here we're at a junction. We can go westward or north. We can't go back east though. I guess I'll choose north because why not? 147. The path heads north into the thick forest. In one of the few clearings between the trees, You see smoke rising from the chimney of a wooden hut to your right. So this is 147. If you want to look through the window of the hut, turn to 38. If you wish to keep walking north, turn to 220. Here's the hut here. Yeah, I like to check out all these things that'll probably get me killed. All right, let's check out the hut. Look through the window of it. I'm gonna be a creep about it. And Stu says, I think you should still turn to 2. Why should I turn to 2? From before, was it about ointment? 38. Here's what we see in the window of the hut. She's reading quite a large book. You peer through the dirty window of the hut to see an old woman in grubby clothes with a wrinkled face and a warty nose reading one of several books by the fireside on the far wall of the hut. A hunchbacked servant is carrying more books to her from shelves. She really needs to read a lot of books at once. From shelves crammed with old books, charts, and scrolls. If you want to enter the hut, turn to 315. If you'd rather return to the path and head north, turn to 220. Be a voyeur, says Eric. I mean, the way I tend to play these games, if it's just a random thing you encounter and there's no really real clue if it's gonna kill you or not, I just check it out. Half the time it will mess you up anyway. Half the time it can be a good thing. So all you can do is try it and learn, live and learn, and hope for the best. Unless anybody thinks there's some obvious warning sign here, like I should never trust a hunchback or something, or never trust an old lady who looks like that. Oh, this book says mage on it, I think. Or maybe it says mouse, like that graphic novel where like the mice are being oppressed by the Nazi cats. Um, anyway, yeah, let's enter the hut 315. 315. You open a rough wooden door and walk into the middle of a dingy hut. Can I just knock on the door or something? Like, do I have to really be like, I don't know, I'm gonna walk into your home. Anyway, will you talk to the old woman or draw your sword? I'll I'll talk. Come on, she's an old woman. You can't just attack first and ask questions later. Yes, you can. Arturo says, yes, you can. You can execute them first, even. It's a reference to when I was playing this game called War Sim, in which you were a king, and these people enter your throne room and they ask you for things like, can I please have money because my neighbors are being jerks to me? And Arturo said every time I should like execute them or throw them into the dungeon or something like that. Somebody's like, can I please help? Can I please get help? No, into the dungeon with you. The old woman throws back. Oh man. Oh, I should have just killed her. The old woman throws back her head and roars with laughter. Ha 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 ha! As you start to make conversation. She is an evil woman. Because she's evil and laughed at me, I lost one luck point and I have to draw my sword now. Alright, so I have 8 luck left. Stupid evil woman. As you draw your sword, the old woman's face changes from an expression of disinterest to that of anger. From a drawer in a nearby table, she pulls out some dead flowers and proceeds to rub a few petals on her palms, filling the hut with a sweet smell. As this happens, the room starts to spin before your eyes. If you possess the headband of concentration, yes, I do. Turn to 115. I do, right? Yeah, I do. If not, do turn to 11. So Stu says, draw your sword like a painting. Huh? Why do you lose a luck point for not being a crazed murderer? Because she's evil and she laughed at me. She should lose a luck point for messing with you. I agree. I bet she didn't expect me to have the headband of concentration. Stu says the headband reacts poorly to the smell. You die instantly. Yeah, right. You start to lose your balance as the illusion distorts your mind. You close your eyes and reach into your backpack, pulling out the headband of concentration, which you quickly place on your head. The spinning sensation in your head subsides, and you open your eyes to see the old woman who you now realize is a witch. To stop you reaching her, the servant throws a wooden chair at you. Test your luck. If you are lucky, the chair misses, turn to 47. If you are unlucky, the chair hits you on the side of the head, knocking you unconscious, turn to 353. Ouch. All right, so we gotta test our luck. Our luck is 8. Therefore, we need an 8 or less on the 2 dice. Jeez, I bet you miss it by 1 point. Yeah, we'll see. God damn it, Stu. How did you know? All right. Stu is right far too often. I don't think I think he might be the witch. And for that, on top of that, I get to lose a luck because every time you test your luck, you lose one. So you should have taken the luck potion. It seems already. Okay. Where were we? Yeah, it hit the chair hits me on the side of the head, knocking me unconscious. Turned to 350. Actually, I would have made that roll had I not gotten laughed at by that evil woman because I chose not to kill first and ask questions later. 353. When you awake, you find that you are lying on the ground outside the wooden hut. You sit up and look inside your backpack. All your all your provisions have been stolen. Well, so much for my. I don't need these potions of healing because I got 10 provisions. I don't need the potion of stamina. I got 10 provisions. Oh well. Luckily, nothing else is gone, and you still have your sword. You look inside the hut, but it is deserted. If you wish to search the hut for something useful, turn to 26. If you would rather leave the hut, return to the path and head north. Turn to 220. Oh, no, I'm gonna roll with it. I'm gonna roll. I'm not gonna cheat until it's all over. I'm not gonna cheat until I have no more hope. But really though, I'm probably gonna end the stream at 12 or 12:15, so I won't get much farther anyway. Um, yeah, so no provisions. Whew, that's rough. And Stu said I didn't say cheat. I said restart. Nah, I'm not gonna bother. 26. I'm gonna explore the hut and get more bad luck by exploring it. You decide to start your search at the wooden shelves. All the books are written in a language unfamiliar to you and contain strange diagrams. The charts and scrolls are also unintelligible to you. You open cupboards and drawers, but all you find are more books, leather bound and dusty. You are about to give up searching the room when you notice one more book on the floor acting as a support for a broken table leg. Will you pick up the book or give up your search and return to the path to head north? I'm gonna, against my better judgment, check out this creepy book. Well, I didn't say it was creepy, but it's probably gonna make me lose more luck. You open the book and are surprised to see that the pages are hollowed out in the middle. Ah, that's what kids do in school to hide their drugs. Lying in the cavity is a small jewel on a silver chain. Beside it is a parchment which reads, Eye of Amber, instructions for use. Place the necklace around your neck and question those you fear. No matter what they try to say, it's only truth you'll hear. In exactly that rhythm. Okay. You place the necklace around your neck and presume your find will come in useful in this evil forest. Add 1 luck point. Yeah, something good happened after all the crap happened. Leaving the hut, you return to the path and head north. Turn to 220. All right, so I'm going to write down Eye of Amber. I don't know if it's ever useful aside from the luck point it already gave me, but I'll write it down nonetheless. And I'll write that it came from paragraph 91 in case I want to reference that because I'm like, what the hell is this thing? And Rhymester says, my kind of writing. Turn to 220. That's because you're a rhymester. I get it. Oh, 220. Walking along the narrow path, you notice a big old tree to your left with a large hole in its trunk just above head height. I should write on my map that the hut with the witch. Let me do that real quick. And then I went north to 220. Okay. Where are we? Notice a big old tree to your left with a large hole in its trunk just above head height. If you wish to breach, yeah, these are things that I'm like I should try it because I want to keep exploring things, but it's like really a random big tree with hole a hole in it. Excuse me, reaching into that. It's gonna be like in Dune probably. Anyway, big old tree with hole. Okay, tree with hole. I'm writing it down. Um, what is your deal though? By the way, Rhymester, if you don't mind my asking about the name, do you just like do you like poetry or do you like rap or do you just like rhymes in general, or is it just a random name that doesn't really mean anything? I'm searching the
I'm
whole.
gonna go, I think.
Okay.
No.
Thanks for joining, Rob Bob. Thanks for hanging out.
All right. Good night.
I'll see you
Bye.
tomorrow. Bye.
See you tomorrow. Bye.
275. You put your hand slowly into the dark hole. It comes into contact with something cold and hard. It feels like a metal bowl. As you start to lift it out of the hole, you wince with pain as the sharp teeth of some small creature suddenly bites into your arm. You pull your arm out quickly, hanging onto your discovery. Blood drips to the ground from your wound. Lose one stamina point. At least it's only one. You see that you have not found a metal bowl after all. It is a bronze helmet, and it looks about your size. Okay, I'm gonna try on this helmet and take one stamina point. I have 18 left. Rob Bob. I'm gonna disconnect my call from him. All right. Now I can talk crap about him. No, just he was very quiet tonight. I guess I was mostly just talking and not prodding him for suggestions too often. Try on the helmet. Also, he's been working hard lately. He has a summer job and he's basically washing dishes for a local fish market, and he has to be on his feet for uh, well, he's a 7 hour shift, but he gets a half hour break, so he's often really tired lately. It's quite a he's getting he's learning the value of the dollar and all that though, so that's good. 179. Put on the helmet. You place the helmet on your head. A surge of power starts to run through your body, making you feel strong and unafraid. The helmet has magical properties and will allow you to add 1 point to all future dice rolls. That's good when computing your own attack strength during combat, so long as you wear it. So basically, plus one skill, right? I guess technically not, but they could have made it do that. Note this on your equipment list. You start walking north again, pleased with your new armor. Turn to 115. Okay, let's write this down. Um, Helmet plus one to attack roll. Don't want to forget that for sure. All right, so we're going to where are we going to 115? 115. The path soon comes to a junction. If you wish to go west, turn to 382. If you wish to go east, turn to 277. Let me update my map. So this is the tree with hole has a good helmet in it. So right with good helmet. All right, so now we can go which direction, west or east? Um, I was at 115. Now we'll go, let's say east to 277. Do, 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 do. I lost my chat window, so let me switch around. So Rhymester says, I like writing little rhymes. I have wrote a couple of songs just for fun. That's cool, man. And he also says, I've written a poem about fighting fantasy. That's cool, too. Wow. But yeah, Rhymester, if you want to share your I mentioned earlier. I hope I don't have the wrong guy here, but I'm pretty sure this is you. You have the Instagram account with all the fighting fantasy maps, right? That you drew yourself. So if you want to share the username, your Instagram name, feel free to do so. Maybe some people here would find it interesting and cool. Anyway, 277. The path continues east for some distance and then turns sharply north, narrowing slightly. The trees seem to crowd in. Okay, good night, Eric Johnson. Thanks for hanging out. And I'll probably see you next Thursday. I'm glad you're a regular lately, Eric. It's been fun chatting with you. All right, so yeah. And Rhymester says yes, Instagram Fighting Fantasy Maps. There you go. If you want to check the Instagram account Fighting Fantasy Maps, he draws up much better maps than I do. And if you wanted to, if I wanted to play this on easy mode, essentially, I could actually have one of his lovely maps in front of me from the get-go, and I would have a much easier time probably. Actually, I'm not sure how much detail he writes. Like this is a good thing to check out. This is a bad thing, but it definitely has nice looking maps if I recall correctly. So that's really nice. The trees seem to crowd in on the path even more than usual, and a tingling down your spine tells you something is not right. Suddenly, a branch from one of the trees, yes, the Evil Dead tree, like I was saying. Suddenly, a branch from one of the trees to your right whips out and knocks you to the ground. Lose one stamina point. All right, so I'm down to 17. You stagger to your feet to see that the tree has moved onto the path, blocking your way. The tree is old with thick, cracked bark. You can just make out its hidden eyes and mouth in the middle of its trunk and realize you have been attacked by a tree man. You may escape by running back to the junction or fight the tree man. I got a lot of stamina and my skills pretty good, even if crappiness happened. But here is the tree man. I think I can handle the tree man. Let's go to 114. And Stu says, in the tree man is Spider-Man. I have that freaking Spider-Man. 114. I did not get the fire capsules, did I? Was that a choice in the beginning even? I don't know. Anyway, the tree man lumbers slowly towards you on large, splayed roots. If you possess fire capsules, turn to 350. Let me just make sure I didn't get that. Yeah, I don't have fire capsules. If you do not possess them, draw your sword and turn to 123. Tree man has Spider-Man. The tree man lashes out at you with two of its main branches, and you leap into the attack. Wish I had a chainsaw. You must defeat the tree man twice, once for each main branch, before it will die. If you win turn to 27, you may escape during battle by running back to the junction in the path. Turn to 234. I'm going to write tree man on the map quick. All right, so its skill is 8 versus my 9, and I get a +1 from my special helmet, so that's not bad at all, really. Let me figure out how I'm doing this with the scrap papery stuff. Yeah, maybe I'll just do this. I'll take my old character sheet just to write the combat stuff. Actually, I kind of used up most of the boxes. Nevertheless, I will write the tree man here for now. It has skill 8, stamina 8, tree man. All right. So essentially, I have a +2 on him. So I'm going to add 2 to my roll. And Yeah, let's do it. I have to kill him twice though, right? Yeah, so actually it's like Tree Man. It might as well be like Tree Man 1 and 2. I guess I'll just reset the stamina to 8 after I kill the first one. I guess that's one way to do it. All right, let's roll. White dice are me, red dice are it. And it looks like we tied the first round because I am up by 2 in skill. And if you add 2 to my, the way you're technically supposed to do is add your skills, but I like to just add the difference because it's simpler sometimes. So I have 8 versus his 8. It's a tie, nothing happens. And this time I won the round. It was my 7 versus his 4. So 2 damage to the tree. He has 6 stamina. Keep it rolling. All right, I totally beat the crap out of him. No, he beat the crap out of me. Sorry, I had it backwards. I take 2 damage. Yeah, I'm not gonna use a luck thingy. Come on, white. Oh man, take another damage. 2 damage. Come on, beat this freaking tree man. All right, I beat him that round. He's down to 4. Oh, he beat me that round. He's getting some good rolls. I'm down to 11. At this rate, I'm gonna lose. But what's these freaking rolls? Jeez. Okay, I'm down to 9. I might have to consider using luck soon. I don't know. Hooyah! I lose again. 7. 7 stamina for me. Alright, I win a round again. He has 2 stamina, but this is just the one branch. I still have to beat the second branch. Taking all these hits and I have no means of healing anymore because of the freaking witch. And we tied that round. And I won that round, so I beat the first branch. 8 stamina again for the second branch. I win the round. 6 stamina for branch 2. I lost a round. Jeez, I have 5 stamina. Next time I'm gonna use my luck to hopefully soften the blow. I don't know. I'll take an extra damage if I fail that roll though. And I win this round, so it's down to 4. Totally won that round. One more hit and he's done. And I need to find a means of healing. I won that round. Alright, I finished the second round. Ugh, that was a brutal one. I went from 17 stamina down to 5 because it hit me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Whew. The brutal tree man. But hopefully I'm going to get a great prize for beating him right now, right? We'll see. If you win, turn to 27. Maybe I could like eat its sap or something and it has healing properties. I don't know. Wiping the thick green sap blood from your sword, you set off north again. That's it. I didn't get anything from beating him. I should have just escaped. I think I would have had to go back though. I had to go back to the last junction or something. You're relieved to see that the trees are at least beginning to thin out and appear less threatening. I like unthreatening trees, non-threatening trees. Yeah, that was a horrible battle. Jeez. Where's my map? Hold on. This is my last map. Okay, here's my character sheet. Just getting organized here. Here's my map. I went. Where to go? North? Yeah, I'm setting off north again to 329. Daylight appears through the trees on either side of the path as the forest thins out more. Soon the path leads out of the trees onto a large plain with tall grasses. Beyond you, beyond you see rising ground leading to low hills. A new branch off the path leads east. Continuing your quest, you may keep on walking north or go east. I can go to low hills, I guess. Yeah, let's keep walking north. That's to 180. Walking quickly along the path through waist-high grass, you arrive at another junction in the path. If you wish to continue north, turn to 105. West is 361. Let's keep going north. Why not? That might not be the best. I think that's kind of my ultimate destination, but I probably need to find things along the way. I'll probably like miss getting pieces of the hammer or something. I don't know. But I'll just do this for now. Wow, what is this thing? A Balrog? Fortunately, that's not my paragraph. But look at that. That's a friggin' Balrog or something like that. Something Balrog like. 105. In the distance, to the right of the path, you see large birds circling in the sky. As you get close, you recognize them as vultures. If you wish to step off the path and see what or whom the vultures are interested in, yeah, of course, turn to 384. If you wish to ignore the vultures and continue walking north, turn to 394. Yeah, let's check out the vultures. 384. 384. Ahead in the grasses, you hear a low moan. Oh. You look up to see the vultures patiently waiting overhead. He's gonna die! Yay! A few steps further, and you see the ugly sight of a huge man, excuse me, with muscles like knotted iron staked out to the ground. His arms and legs are tied to four large wooden pegs driven deep into the ground. The man is naked except for a small loincloth, and his skin is badly blistered from the sun. His face and chest show the bloodied signs of cruel torture. His captors will not have gained the information they sought from him because he is a barbarian. If you wish to cut him free, turn to 128. If you want to leave him in his agony and return to the path to head north, turn to 394. Here he is, looking all muscly and dying. A huge man with muscles like not iron to stick to the ground. All right. Well, the fact that they put it in all caps feels like there's a possible combat situation. I don't know why they always do that for anything you can fight. They put the name in all caps. But I like to try out everything, so I'm gonna cut him free. It turns out he's an evil barbarian, and he was put there by the forest police. Yeah, he's attacking me. Oh, I should have known. All right, you cut the thick ropes holding the barbarian. He grunts and sits up to rub his wrists and ankles. Come on, he's in no shape to be fighting me. He should be like, water, water. He looks at you and sneers. He is either delirious or ungrateful, for he pulls out one of the wooden stakes from the ground and turns to attack you. I'm not a vampire. You're not going to beat me with a wooden stake. All right, here we go. I'm going to scroll it on my old map because I'm out of room on the other sheet. Barbarian, skill 9, stamina 7. Jeez. I tried to grab the other freaking thing. Okay, we're going to say Barb, skill 9, Stamina 7. Alright, let's roll. I have effectively skill 10 because of my whatever it was, weapon. My helmet, that's right. So I am up by 1. And we saw how it went when I was up by 2 against the tree, so I don't know about this. Okay, first round. It is a tie because I am up by 1. So it becomes 6 versus 6. Next, I win, so I take him to 5 stamina. At least there's not 2 of this guy like for the tree. I lost that round, so I am down. Let me think about this though. I'm about to take 2 damage and be down to 3 stamina. I'm gonna make a luck roll to reduce it by 1. I need 8 or less. If I fail, I actually take an extra damage and I'm gonna be angry. 8 or less. Of course, I failed by 1. Alright, so I took an extra damage and now I'm down to 2. Christ. Okay, this could be the end of me. Next round, remember I'm up by 1, and I lost the round again, so I'm dead unless I do another test your luck and I succeed. So I need 7 or less, or game over. I succeeded. I took 1 damage, and I lose 1 luck in the process. But now I am on my last point, and no amount of luck can help with that. So here we go. I have to start winning. Then I really need a way to heal. All right, I lost. That's it. You beat me by 1. That's all. That sucked. The crappy die rolls and the witch screwing me, and yeah, it's about the right time for me to end the stream anyway. But yeah, I'm feeling a little, like they say in this paragraph, dejected. Cause man, those rolls. Uh, and yeah, I lost all my means of healing. I didn't really think a witch was gonna steal all my provisions. um, but one way to play it, one way to play these kind of games is you learn and repeat. And who knows, maybe I'll revisit this one and I'll have knowledge at least about the freaking witch. Um, you could argue it is not necessarily bad to go to the witch with perfect knowledge of the witch situation. It still might be best to go after her because as long as the chair doesn't hit you, you can get some good stuff out of it. I got the thing that added to my luck, which was the Eye of Amber. And I love you too, Stu. And Rhymester says, I hate when we get killed down to 0. I've always wanted to be the fighting fantasy hero. Yeah, in a sense though, if you always win, it's not satisfying, right? It's not satisfying when you do win if it's a cakewalk. Um, I don't know. It is disappointing, but yeah. And I definitely had a lot of crap rolls against that tree. I mean, come on, I was up by 2. I shouldn't have been losing quite that much. But sometimes the dice just screw you. uh, what else is there to say before I end? Yeah, that was fun. I don't know what next time I'm gonna continue with game books, but I could play one of these TNT adventures that have my credits on them sometime soon. Maybe Alice in Weird World or something. The thing is, I'm kind of afraid because I didn't really get to try the end product. I got to give a lot of feedback, and then they updated accordingly. Um, there was like one monster in Elven Lord where there was special combat rules for the monster, and it was so confusing. I was like, this needs a rewrite, but I didn't really give them any specific advice, so I'm afraid it's going to be terrible. Let me show you. Let me flip through Elven Lords a bit while I've got that. It has some of the artwork by Liz Danforth. I like her art a lot. And Arturo says, thanks for the stream. It was a little rhyme for you, says Ryanster. Yeah. So yeah, Liz Danforth kind of came sort of out of retirement to work on it. I think she's done with Tunnel to the Troll. She said that now though. But yeah, I want to try to find that monster who was complicated. I don't know why I'm looking through this right now. But yeah, maybe I'll play this next time, or Alice in Weird World or something. We'll see though. Ah, yeah. Thanks, Rhymester. Thanks for hanging out. But yeah, guys, if you want to see some good-looking fighting fantasy maps, and maybe I'll look up the Forest of Doom one right now. You can check his Instagram account, which is Fighting Fantasy Maps. I like this look. This guy looks cool. You have to appreciate the amount of work that these fantasy artists put into these kind of things. This is a full-fledged painting, you know. This is not just, a quick sketch with a pencil. This is a painting. Anyway, yeah, I am happy to have my name on this. All right, welcome to Go. That's all. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, next stream, usual schedule. I will probably stream on Thursday. That's when I play old school computer games or video games. Lately, I've been playing MS-DOS shareware games. I don't know if I'm going to repeat that theme next week, but I might because there's so much to explore in that area. But yeah, and then next Saturday is another one of these streams where anything goes. It could be more game books, it could be modern computer games, it could be anything. But that's all I got for tonight. So yeah, thanks again for joining everyone. And if you enjoyed the stream, please press the like button. If you didn't, well, don't press the like button. But that's all. See you guys next time. Take care. Thanks everyone.